I don't see anything yet.
You are live. I got a you are live on my end.
Oh, there we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the program. I'm Matt Ryan, as always, bringing you the combat sports violence, not the pro wrestling violence, here on the Matt Men YouTube channel. Brendan Sokler unavailable due to emergency surgery for his cat, Nandor. There's a GoFundMe if you go to my Twitter, Matt Ryan Yells, or go to Brendan Sokler on Twitter or Instagram. That's Brendan Sokler on Twitter or Instagram. They're raising money for Nandor's emergency surgery yesterday. We're so glad you are joining us here on the show. A lot of fun things going on tonight. The number 1 and 2 fighters, pound for pound, according to the Ultimate Fighting Championship, will be facing off in our main event. That's Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. Our co-main event is for the interim Featherweight Championship, as Volkanovski is the Featherweight champion. Yair Rodriguez will be taking on Josh Emmett. We got Jimmy Crute versus Alonzo Menifield, Jack Della, Maddalena, and Randy Brown, and also a whole lot more. We are in the final prelim. Tyson Pedro taking on Bukowskis. Shout out to Toker88 joining us in the program, Lane Media, and also joining me is my producer for the evening. It's MG Geek. Hi, MG.
Hey, yo, what up, man?
Nothing much, pal. How are you?
I am good. You're just looking to watch some people beat the hell out of each other for a few hours.
Ain't that the way? Ain't that the way it's supposed to be? Like we do these, we do these shows, and it's a fun time. And Pedro and Bukowskis just ended the round. But let me know in the chat what fights you are most looking forward to. Stephanie Sotilli is actually on a well-deserved vacation. Her and the professor are in the foreign land of Canada at the Quebec. I believe it's their version of Carnival, their winter carnival. So Steph not joining us, but the fat baby is roaming around here in the studio. So we'll be hearing from her throughout the evening. And I'm really excited for Islam Makhachev and Volkanovski. If you go to my Patreon or our Patreon, patreon.com/Dan A. White, that's patreon.com/Dan A. White, you'll see the preview I wrote for today's show where I basically said that the UFC did an amazing job of not promoting this fight and not promoting this card. If I didn't have this show, I wouldn't have known. Toker88 in the pipe 5x5. Bless you, buddy. Shout out to MG Geek in the chatski. He's in charge tonight. But at the top of the hour, just 8 minutes away, we'll be 15 minutes away from the first fight of the evening. And at the top of the hour, we'll be playing the game, even though it'll just be me and MG, a two-person race this show. We want to know your thoughts on how many people will be out for the walkout for the first fight of the night, which is Crute versus Menifield. And what time will the first walkout take place? We want you guys also to donate to the Super Chats. Give us some.
Straight cash, homie.
One more time.
Straight cash, homie. Straight cash, homie.
You can do that by clicking the $ button in the chat. We've got some people filtering on in here. Bukowskis and Pedro are in round 3, 420 left to go in the round. Let's take a look here. To do a bunch of different things with this, and I got all the buttons now. It's fancy. Like I can just do whatever I want. Evil thing. But yeah, and Toker's right. There was no real advertising for this. MG, outside of the fact that I told you, hey, we have a show on Saturday, did you have any clue that this fucking card was happening?
I looked it up on Monday and went, oh crap. So I did look it up, and I was like, oh man. And then I goes, I probably should message Matt. And then you messaged me the other day and was like, oh yeah, here's the stuff. I'm like, okay.
It creeps on you because the UFC traditionally does a Super Bowl weekend pay-per-view, and I get it, but I kind of fucking hate it.
Yeah,
because you're planning your whole weekend around, the big game at the end of the season. I don't want us to get sued. The large NFL contest taking place in Arizona tomorrow. I want to be locked in for that.
That may be super and something else.
Yeah, there's
in
an owl involved. It's a whole fucking
in
thing.
an eating vessel.
Yes, there was a article from ESPN this week talking about NFL clean zones, which are areas around the stadium or in the host city where no non-sponsorship branding can be shown. Like if you are like Bridgestone Tire, which was a comparison. If there were any other tires in the area, you had to put tape or change the tires if it wasn't the official tire in that area.
That's crazy.
It's just fucking capitalism at its most absurd. Like, that's absurdist capitalism. That's pretty fucking weird. But let me know in the chat what card you are looking forward to the most tonight in the UFC 284, our second pay-per-view of the year. And we've got 2 in March. I don't understand how they fucking schedule these fights. Because we have 2 in March, and then we have, like, time off at varying points.
So wasn't this only 3 weeks ago that we had this?
Yeah, it was less than a month ago.
And then we're going to come back in a month, and then we're going to come back 2 weeks later. 3 weeks
2
later,
weeks after that, because it's March 4th and March 18th. and the next time we'll be here, John Jones will be back, which is fucking ridiculous. And we didn't really get a chance to talk about that or Francis Ngannou the last time we were here because all that shit broke after the fact. Pedro getting punched out of the corner by Bukauskas. Both of these guys throwing leather here in the final fight of the prelim card at the top of the hour. We'll be transitioning over to the main show, UFC 284. And if you like what you're hearing and you want to be a part of the conversation, send some love. Share us on social media. Give me a follow at Matt Ryan Yells. That is Matt Ryan Yells. And KG, yours is to fight forever, yes?
Yes, 2 is the number 2, fight forever.
So give him a follow. You can follow Steph at Steph Sotilli. And you can follow Brendan at Brendan Sokler. Let's talk about this card tonight. We start with Jimmy Crute and Alonzo Menifield in the 205-pound division. That one's going to be a fun one. Crute's got 2 performance of the night bonuses. Menifield only has 1, but it was against Paul Craig. And Crute's coming off of 2 straight losses to Jamal Hill and Anthony Smith. Menifield's got 2 wins in his last couple of fights, a KO of Misha Serkinov and a TKO of Askar Mazarov. The last loss was a unanimous decision against William Knight, so the deeper this fight goes, it may get very interesting here. Both of these guys looking to close the door early, and especially Menifield, the last 2 fights being a knockout. And with that being said, Crute's stamina in terms of not getting dropped is going to be really tested in the early going. Next up, it's Thick Boy season as Justin Taffa will be taking on Parker Porter. Porter last fought in May, so it's been almost a year since he stepped inside the octagon, and he got submitted by Jalitan Alameda, which ended a 3-fight winning streak. His wins in the UFC were all by unanimous decision, which were book-ended by the loss to Alameda and Chris Dauskis. He's knocked out 5, submitted 3 and 4 by decision. It'll be interesting to see. We had a ball kick. We almost had our first ball kick of the night, Matt, in the last round of that fight. And Taffa is a BJJ blue belt. He's not fought since December of 2021 against a great name, Matt. It's Harry Hunsucker. Like, you have to be a fighter with that name. Like, you either sell suits or you can cuss people for money. Like, there's no gray area there. And we take a look at prior 2 fights were decision losses to Jared Vander Aa and Carlos Felipe. Vander Aa by unanimous decision and SD by Felipe. And our third fight of the night, our last non-title fight, let's take a look at the decision here. See if Tyson Pedro got the win. And it was won by his opponent, Bukauskas. And that is a way, not a happy way for Brazilians to end the prelims. Shout out to Fo Sushi joining us in the chat. Long time there. So glad you are joining us, Fo, and glad everybody else is joining us. I've got short hair now, which is jarring, I would say, for people who have watched this show over the past year and change. And yes, Darkside 1985, that is Joan Rivers flipping me off right there. And Stanley Franklin, good evening, sweeties. Great haircut, Matt. Steph's not here, Stanley. I'm sorry. If you stop listening, I understand. But Stephanie not joining us. But we're here. We'll be giving you all the fun all evening long. We're taking a look at two of the fights so far. Madalena versus Randy Brown's our third fight. Maddalena's fourth UFC fight. Prior three were all in 2022, so entering his second year of action. His wins over Danny Roberts, Ramazan Emeev, and Pete Rodriguez were all by first-round TKO. Randy Brown, UFC vet, BJJ brown belt. The winner of his last four, 3 by decision, 1 by submission. The most recent win being a unanimous decision win over Francisco Trinaldo. And Vicente Luque was the last one to beat Brown by knockout in 2020. Then we have the interim featherweight title fight. Yair Rodriguez, former Ultimate Fighter Latin American tournament winner. 5 times he's won Fight of the Night. He'll be going up against Josh Emmett, a BJJ purple belt, 1 time as Performance of the Night. Thank you, Tiffany Shriver. I'm glad people like the haircut. Because when you, and Matt, you have long hair, so you know this. Like, when you make the decision, or like me, get depressed to the point where your hair is long, and you're starting anew, or you're trying to, like, refresh yourself and look less like a goalie coach who's on hard times, baby, you go to get the haircut, and you have do you have a regular barber?
I do. One that just trims it up. Yeah.
So I go to this barber in Hoboken. They started out as a sponsor of Catalyst Wrestling. I really like the barbers there. My barbers from back home, they're not around anymore, so I have to go there because I only trust a scant amount of people with my hair. I know it's ridiculous. I know I'm white guy variant 62795, but I care about haircuts. They're kind of a tradition thing, and the experience of going to a barber shop is kind of a communal thing. Mule is 1289, got the Teen Wolf Cody Garbrandt hair. I dig it. Thank you. But the reason why my hair's like this is because my regular barber was there. I had an appointment with him, but I was late. So someone jumped ahead of me, and I got a new barber. And when you have a barber, you kind of get used to their, even though I only get my haircut once every fucking 9 months at this point, you have a rhythm and a cadence with them. It's like you understand how they move, and you get a good feeling of that. It's just a learned thing over time. This guy was moving. It felt like I was working Buzz Sawyer, or I was in the octagon with Demi and Maya, because he was moving me all the way fuck around, and I was trying to go against what he was, like, I was trying to go with what he was doing, but he'd say, don't move, and it's just very uncomfortable and awkward, and both of you just want to end this transaction as quickly as fucking possible. Finley John Beaton, I picked the length. I usually like it longer on top, short on the sides and back. But I think he left it a little. It's in that weird gray area where it's not too short, but it's not long, like long-ish. So it just kind of. I wake up with faux hawks now, and as a 33-year-old man who runs a business, I really can't defend having the faux hawk. And Steph just texted me good luck. I just said thank you very loudly via iMessage. But you get to that point, and people just joining us now, I'm Matt Ryan. There will be fights. It is past 10 o'clock in the Eastern Standard Time Zone, but we are in the opening video package for UFC 284, so I decided to do the sitcom, the patter that you would have if you were a comedian on a talk show who's trying to do a bit but not a bit. So this is my morning radio material, Matt, so when I make it famous... doing whatever the fuck it is I do. I don't even know what I do anymore.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah, yes, Matthew.
It's actually about the show, about the fight.
What?
Yeah, believe it or not. So this is in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think they handle these ridiculous start times for these fights over there? They
started a fucking
like
UFC Fight Night card at 1 o'clock in the morning. Well, what time is it in Australia right now?
Well, we can look it up because we have that. Let's see. Do you know, is it in Sydney or?
It's in Melbourne.
Melbourne.
See, when I say it, it's me trying to be respectful when you say it. Oh, it's the main sponsor is Ned's. Just Ned's. Don't know what Ned's is, but that's the main sponsor. And they are in Perth, Western. Oh, they're in Perth. I'm sorry. They're in Perth. I'm stupid. I'm a stupid little whore. This is going to be a show, guys.
Wow, yeah, that's makes it completely different too, doesn't it?
It's Western Australia, so it's technically closer to them. I don't know. No, it's further away. It's further away from America. I saw someone just trying to drink out of a Chuck Taylor. That seems like the worst shoe to do a shoey out of. Like a Croc would be the absolute worst because it's just Swiss cheese sandals. But when it comes to the canvas, it's not great. Like you're just getting soaked up there. There's nothing that's gonna pool because it's just gonna stick to the canvas of the shoe. Nothing giving me. Hold on, I'll give.
I got something. I got it. Wow. Okay, so it's 11 a.m. in Perth.
Jesus, Mary, mother of fuck. They're
so
getting
that
drunk
means
at 11 a.m. on a Sunday. You know what?
So
we call that
what
brunch.
What time does the prelims start?
6 Eastern.
6 Eastern here, and it's 10 now, so that's 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
So that means they are starting these at 8 a.m.
Fuck you. You want me to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning? You want me to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning to watch dudes beat the fuck out of each other for $20? Nah, I'll go at 11. Take a look at the chat here. Stephen Kelleher. Ooh, this is going to be a fun night. Boys and girls and other people. Ooda lolly. Darkside 1985. I missed my Catalyst Wrestling promos. Where's my show? Well, right now you can sign up to streamcatalyst.wrestling.com. That's streamcatalyst.wrestling.com, and you can get a 2-week free trial where you can watch our last show, Rock the Bell House, for absolutely free and see the last time Colby Carino Homicide faced off. Or if you want to come hang out with me and Brendan, you want to get drunk with us, head on over to tinyurl.com/catalyst6. That's Catalyst VI. That's tinyurl.com/catalyst VI. For the next time, we'll be bringing you a show, which is March 5th. So for more information, go to catalystwrestling.com or tinyurl.com/catalyst VI. Where's Brendan? Brendan's cat in Andor had emergency surgery last night on his 35th birthday. So he is making sure his cat's healthy and fine. I'm running the ship here. Steph's in Canada. MG's in the Central Time Zone. I'll live somewhere in the fucking studio, and I have a haircut. Finley John Beaton skipping church for a UFC card. You know the arguments that would take place in American households if a UFC card took place in Texas or Florida on a Sunday morning.
Oh, dear.
Raylan! Why the fuck are you wearing an Affliction shirt? You ain't wearing that to church! Oh, God. I've turned into Jeff Foxworthy.
You turned into something there.
What have I become, my sweetest friend? Shout out to PJ Simpson, happy 284.
Straight cash, homie.
He's a patron.
Straight cash, homie. Straight cash.
Thank you so much. And if you want to be a patron, if you want to make sure that I can give Olive quality steak on Valentine's Day, go to patreon.com/Dan A. White. That's patreon.com/Dan A. White. And Brian said something looks different. Haircut? Stephen Kelleher saying, some of us Northerners will be in church as well. I know, Raiden. It's just, that was the easy joke. Me being a Northeasterner talking about going to church and feeling bad about myself, that's just kind of part of my overall oeuvre. So I felt going Southeastern, maybe closer to the Floribama line, made more sense. But, you know. Ooh, Mule's $12.89. Slurpee or icy? Fuck. I'm a slush puppy guy. I'll just say it. I preferred the slush puppy. Like, you had the machines when I was a kid. There was this one place down the block from me where you can make your own. And I always did it to myself to where it'd be like rainbow and sour lemon and lime. I just wanted to kick my own taste buds asshole. But it's an interesting conversation there. MG, if we can make that a poll, Slurpee or icy, as the poll in the YouTube chat. That'd be awesome. But if you want to give us some,
Straight cash,
you
homie.
can donate to the super chat.
Straight cash, homie.
And it is currently 10:09, so we might as well pick what time the first walkout's going to be. I think it's going to be 10:16 myself. Let me know in the chat, and I think 3 people are actually going to be making the walk with either Alonzo Menifield or Jimmy Crute. Stephen Kelleher, they're just old snow cones. You shut your whore mouth. Blue slush. Like TV food, like the squishy from The Simpsons, is one of those things you always wanted in real life but could never. It doesn't exist. Like, it's supposed to be a Slurpee or a snow cone or an icy, but it just seemed thicker. Like, it seemed like more gelatinous, and I was interested in what it actually was. Brian saying 10:15. Stanley Franklin 10:18 with 4 people coming out. Trigger D, Triggerbert Delendez checking in. Smash that like button, please do. And we've got that in the chat. Slurpee or icy? Let me know your thoughts. Stanley Franklin 10:18 with 4 people. Let's take a look at the parlay. Alexander Volkanovski plus 310 plus Josh Emmett at plus 160 and Randy Brown at 265 would give you $3,791 if you bet $100. Bo Sushi saying 16. Stanley Franklin 10:18 and 4. Let me know in the chat what time you think the first fight will make their walk to the octagon and how many people will be making the walk out with them. It's just great seeing a lot of you guys in the chat just hanging out. I'm glad we're building this community, and I'm glad we're able to do the show. Thank you, Trigger D, Matt Ryan, the motherfucking GOAT. I try. Cheers to y'all. Let me know what you're drinking in the chat as well tonight.
Nice. Speaking of drinking, I'm going to go get situated.
Go get some beverages. Go get bevs. But let me know what you're swigging on or imbibing safely. Please. Drink responsibly. Don't be that fucking asshole. Please. Your safety, my safety, and everybody's safety. Please drink responsibly. Dark Side 1985 14 4 people. We got Toker. Mules 1289 saying he'll be here forever because he's broke. Well, you know, respect, brother. Respect. Travis Tart. Oh, he's fucking around. Toker 88 17 after the hour and 3 companions. Yes, Brian, I'm celebrating. What? I don't really know, but I'm celebrating. Mules 1289. You're the closest thing to a John Anik on YouTube. Oh, that's sweet of you. I'm glad you think that way. My former employers did not think that way, but my former employers also had a lot of bad shit happen to them this week. So hopefully everyone out there affected by what happened to one of my former homes are okay. Really shitty fucking thing that happened to the MMA community. In a really shitty run for the MMA community. Tyson Pedro, hold on. Syrup plus jelly, I prefer syrup.
Straight cash, homie. Straight cash, homie. Straight cash, homie.
That's PJ Simpson donating $20 to the super chat.
Straight cash, homie.
Well, more for that. Bo Sushi drinking Jack Daniel's honey neat. I never liked Jack Daniel's honey. It was just always too sweet. It just tasted like you were drinking honey from out of the package at a diner at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you still had like whiskey on your breath from the bar, which is just really, really, really something that I shouldn't pull from direct memory. Mules 1289 drinking syrup. Good for him. Menifield and Crute, the video package is now. It's 10:13. So if you're closest to the hole, that's Darkside 1985. Will we get the walkout? Will Darkside be the winner? And he is. And how many people? Let's see how many people. Shout out to the hungover moth. And he's got one person walking out with him. We don't count the camera people or security. So it was 10-14, 10-13, and 1 closest to the hole. Darkside 1985. Toker 88. Jack Daniel's barbecue is really good. Yes, Jack Daniel's in a barbecue sauce is pretty fucking great. But just drinking it straight, I just, you know, you got to make choices in life, and you got to pick what's best for you and for your health and your happiness. Trigger D, I bet on Menifield, so Crute's going to get that KO. Oy Vezmir. Let's take a look here at Menifield. He doesn't have a belt to speak of, not on his pants, but a black belt or a blue belt or any belt in any martial arts discipline. He's got one performance in a night against Paul Craig. His last 2 wins were by KO and TKO against Misha Serkinov and Askar Mazarov. His last loss was against William Knight via unanimous decision. But he's going up against a guy in Jimmy Crute, a BJJ black belt. But back-to-back wins for Menifield, 4th highest significant strike accuracy in light heavyweight division history at 57.1, 2nd highest takedown defense in the division's history at 91.3. So he is dangerous with his hands, and he is dangerous in stopping his opponent. Props to watch Menifield to win by knockout or TKO, plus 225. Crute to win inside the distance, minus 120. Crute to get the win by knockout or TKO, plus 215. Trigger D saying, I have Chael Sonnen's luck with my predictions. I'm sorry, kitten. It's okay. We still love you. I don't know about them, but I love you. I hope you know that. I love all you fucking people hanging out with me on a Saturday night when you can be doing literally anything else. Stanley. Oh, buddy. No. That would not... Don't wish that on somebody. Why would you want that on someone? You guys only deal with me once a month. Dealing with me out more than that is just... That would be depressing and sad and... Shame on you. Shame on you for wishing that on someone. I also look like Paul Ellering while I'm shaking this. Yeah, the road warrior! Oh, my... Oh, no, hold on. That was King Curtis Ayakaya. And Tiffany, yeah, that was what I was talking about. Really, really sad for all my ex-coworkers over there, June and the whole crew. Just a whole big basket of fucked up on how that went down. But corporate America, that's how it bees. But we have Jimmy Crute making his walk to the octagon. He is being checked at the Ned's station. MG, can you look up what the fuck Ned's is? Because I have to know. I have to know at this point. Ned's, Neds.
Oh, it's a sponsor?
Yeah, it's the main sponsors. I want to know what the fuck it is. Crute, he's won his last 5 by knockout. Largest control time percentage among UFC light heavyweights of 42.2%. Highest submission attempt average among active UFC light heavyweights, 2.3 per 15 minutes. Take a look at the chat. This is the only channel that does an actual play-by-play. Ever listen to the others? Matt Hesketh. Well, thank you. And do hit the thumb up, like Tiffany said. Hit the thumbs up and then come through. Tell a friend. Chill out. Let's do the thing. Bloody Elbow, a lot of the original staff there got let go over the last couple of weeks in between when we were with you. And now, as you know, I left Vox Media last November, and I've been here since December. But let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Menifield 35, Jimmy Crute 26. Crute with the height advantage, 6'2". Menifield 6 foot even. Crute at 204.5. Menifield at 206. Slight reach advantage from Menifield, 76 inches to 74 from Crute. Mules 1289. Best makeup rock. Kiss or Twisted Sister? Kiss. Fucking War Machine. Like, Destroyer. That wins it. Better people, probably Twisted Sister.
Oh, I have your answer.
Stanley Franklin said online betting, but is he correct?
Yes, he is. Yes, it's a online betting company out of Australia. Hence why. So it does make sense.
So do you bet didgeridoos? Like, what's the currency? It's dollars, right?
I don't even know. What is the currency in Australia? It might be dollars.
And Tiffany, thank you for the kind words. Thank you guys for joining me here. Elmo Watches Wrestling is here. Let's take a look at the poll real quick. 56% of you prefer Slurpees and 44% prefer Ices. Important work being done here tonight on the show. And yeah, I know other people are doing fight companions tonight, but this one doesn't have Brendan Schaub, so I feel like I'm not sure. I don't know Brendan
This
Schaub.
one's better.
Well, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying. I'm left alone to my own devices here. So it's going to get really fucking weird really fucking quickly. Why does Jimmy Crute have the Umbrella Corporation's logo tattooed on his chest? That's a choice. Mark Goddard is the official. Looking like the dad who was stepped up in that situation. You know, he cuts the orange slices and hands out the juice boxes at the soccer games. He has to. Mule's 1289. I don't know yet. But round one begins. The main card starts. 5 minutes to decide this one in the first round. Leg kick by Crute trying to push the pressure here in the early going is the Aussie. 15 seconds gone by. Overhand left, missed by Menifield. Tries to land the right, but Crute lands a shot. Turned in with the knee. Overhand right by Menifield. Going for the takedown is Crute, and he scoops him, grabbed him by the hips. Menifield back pressed up against the fence now. Crute trying to get Menifield into the Luther Campbell. Which for new viewers means face down, ass up. He is in the Luther Campbell, trying to drag Menifield down onto the canvas of the octagon. Just over 40 seconds gone by in round number one, and Crute looking to smother and cover Menifield like my beloved Waffle House. Now putting his knee on the back of Menifield, dragging him away from the fence, but Menifield's pure power gets him back towards the fence, trying to maintain some composure here as Crute hangs on to him like a child holding on to their parent on the first day of kindergarten. Menifield back to a vertical base, but that ends quickly. Almost being pulled into a Shawn Michaels pose was Menifield. Grabbing the thighs was Crute of Menifield and drags him down with a slam. And now in a variation of side control, Crute trying to dictate pace on the floor here. 2 of 2 on the takedowns for Jimmy Crute. Menifield with his feet on the octagon fence. Crute landing shots with his left hand, trying to position in the top position. Postures off the fence. Both men standing back up. Now trying to go for another takedown is Crute. Menifield pressing up against the fence and now looking almost a pile drive or DDT. Trying to lock in a guillotine is Menifield. Menifield trying to lock in the Crow, and he was slipping out of it, but he maintains that pressure. Crute finds a way out, though. Now just trying to act like he's hitting a tackling dummy was Crute, just pressing into Menifield's solar plexus, and then trying for another single leg attempt was Crute. But Menifield being able to stay on his feet. 2:22 left to go in round number one. Now back on the ground is Menifield. On his back, Crute transitions, now posturing on the left leg. Menifield holding him close, Crute slipping out of it. Into side control. Now both men in Menifield in a sitting position. Crute standing over him. Trying to pull a guillotine. He pulls it, but he can't hold on to it. Menifield rolls right back into the guillotine. Menifield rolls out of it, gets back up to a vertical base, and a kick to the head, and both men throw it hands. Minute 45 left to go, and it's turned into a boxing match. Crute landing an uppercut. Right hand miss, left hand doesn't miss. Crute goes for a head kick, lands on his back, and now Menifield in charge, and Crute trying to pull the triangle or trying to pull an armbar from the bottom. Now Crute in the Luther Campbell. North-south applied by Menifield. Minute 22 left to go in the round. This last minute has been a motherfucker. Menifield trying to steal the round or win the fight. Menifield now holding on as Crute face down, ass up in the Luther Campbell. Posturing around now, trying to take the back is Menifield. Landing shots with impunity here on to Jimmy Crute. Crute's gas tank may be depleted here with just a minute left in round one. Can he hold on and maintain and hope this round stays with him? 51 seconds now left to go. maintaining that Luther Campbell position. This looks like the Spice Channel at 3 o'clock in the morning when you were trying to find it a little less blurry. 40 seconds left to go in the round now. Maintaining that Luther Campbell and Menifield landing hammer fists on a prone Jimmy Crute. Crute eating shots to the side of the head. Crute trying to get out of it. Still in that Luther Campbell. Still getting shots to the face by Menifield. Menifield holding that position, trying to cover up his Crute. He's got to hold on for 17 more seconds. Both men back up to a vertical base. Crute pressed up against the fence, trying to go for a Muay Thai clinch. Now a single tie and a left hand from hell by Menifield. Another right hand, and Crute gets dropped like a bad habit, and is trying to survive the last 3 seconds. He was barely awake, and he'll survive the round, but that one got stolen from him like he was Metallica, and Menifield was Napster in the 90s. We'll go to round 2. Trigger D saying, kick the balls, inshallah. Oh, fuck a doodle. That was a round, boys and girls.
That was fun.
Yeah. Whew.
So I'm gonna take a little unofficial poll from the chat, if I may. Would the chat does chat like this, or would chat like this view with Matt and the stats together? Let's put that up. With that, do we like that?
Well, let us know in the chat. We're taking a look at highlights and just how that round turned on a dime, Matt. Completely. Yeah. Crute dominating with his grappling, with his takedowns. The fight, I think, could have been called at the end of round 1. But
I thought he was going to call it there for a second.
Yeah, it looked like it. And here we go with round number 2, Menifield. And meeting Crute in the middle. Throwing left hands. Body kick by Crute barely lands. Left hand thrown by Menifield. Oh, and Crute gets caught with the right hand. He's down on his back and will have to scramble out of it, holding on to the left thigh of Menifield, who was on top of him, draining his energy like it's no mercy. Just 30 seconds gone by, he got caught with that right hand, and my man faded like he was on Xans and hit the canvas quickly. Menifield now trying to take the back again.
They like you better.
Okay. Once again in the Luther Campbell position is Crute. Crute trying to crawl to the fence. He gets there, but Menifield dragging on top of him. 1 minute gone by in this round, and now trying to go for the choke. The RNC. Crute rolls Menifield over him and off of him, but Menifield gains back to position. Crute was now into a variation of an abdominal stretch. Crute pressed up against the fence, holding on to Menifield for dear life. 3:39 left to go in the round. In the body. Ooh, a stiff forearm from Menifield. 3:26 left to go in the round. Right hand landed by Menifield in the clinch. Crute trying to go for the takedown. Menifield will find a way to stop it. Crute trying to keep up with the striking of Alonzo Menifield. Not sure if it's going to work for him. 3:08 left to go in the round. Left hand from Menifield. Crute barely getting out of the way of that one. Crute throws a left hand of his own, steps in with the right, pushed away by Menifield. Throwing the right was Menifield. Crute stopped on the takedown attempt. Ooh, and a Muay Thai knee. Glancing blow on the Menifield by Crute. Head kick by Crute. Another left hand from Menifield. Crute looking a little dazed, a little wobbly. He's got that rubber band AI. He's looking to drop. Oh, that's it. That's it. Left and right. Crute's face looks looks like it was put in an emulsion blender. Crute's still on his feet. I think Mark Goddard should stop the fight. And pressed up against the fence right now. The strike ratio is 14 by Crute, 54 by Menifield. Menifield has landed 40 more significant strikes than Jimmy Crute so far, and we're only with 2:04 left to go in the second round. Achtun Liebe Ada Scheiße It is a rough night for Jimmy Crute here in Perth. Pressed up against the octagon. Menifield continuing to drain the energy of Jimmy Crute, who started out winning the first round. That one switched into, in my opinion, a Menifield 10-9, and right now it's a 10-8 round with 1:39 left to go. Crute needing to steal something here to make it even between rounds, or maybe steal this round back and go up 2-0. Punch by Menifield, still in this clinch, changing the polarity as Crute now Menifield with his back to the offense. Trying to slip down and take one of the legs, try to go for a double leg. Pulls now focus on the left leg, and Menifield gets dragged down by Crute, and we're back to where we were at the start of round one, but Menifield trying to posture up. Gave up his back a little bit. Crute trying to slip in a choke. Can't get his arm underneath the jaw. Crute 5 of 8 on takedown, 63% so far in this fight. Under a minute left to go in round number 2. Trying to lock in a choke is Crute. Menifield in trouble. Still technically, in my opinion, winning this round. Now trying to maybe go for a Kimura or go for a choke. Tries to lock in. Menifield trying to tuck his chin in to make sure that Crute can't slip his forearm underneath and into the throat of Menifield. Under 30 seconds now left to go in round number 2. Crute continuing again and again to try to set up that choke, throwing some very lifeless lefts and rights while on top of the back of Alonzo Menifield. 14 seconds now. Menifield looking to get back to a vertical base. Crute trying to pull the choke again. Riding on top of him, backpacking him. 7 seconds left to go in the round. Menifield can hold on for 3 seconds. He'll survive to round number 3, and he will. And this one maybe a 10-9 round for Menifield, but Crute took up the last 65 seconds. It'll be interesting to see how the judges score this one. Let's take a look here at the chat. Jamal Hill must have serious power if he can knock out Crute, but Lonzo can't. That's a fair point, Trigger. 10-7 Crute if the judges from the first fight are calling this one. Oof, Trig. Oof. Are they? It is a home field advantage. Crute is from Australia. So we might see some interesting scoring, some GSP and Montreal scoring go down here tonight. Trigger, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do double shots in a dab, buddy. You're okay. You're safe. You're safe. PJ Simpson saying fight of the night so far if you think so.
Straight cash, homie. Straight cash, homie.
Donate to the Super Chat or become a patron at patreon.com/Danny White. The money this month goes towards pie. Next time we'll be with you is March 4th. John Jones versus Cyril Gahn and Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. We'll be here on Mat Men for that one. Round number 3, Crute will be the first one to the center of the octagon. Menifield more composed here. Throwing right hands. Just heavily relying on that overhand right. Left uppercut, that caught him. That caught Crute a little bit. Leading with that left hand. Menifield also looking tired. Both of these men a little worse for wear here. Menifield back to the fence. Crute trying to get him in position maybe for a takedown. Crute barely survived round number 1. Menifield found himself in a submission scenario to end round number 2. And now, Menifield trying to stifle another takedown attempt by Crute, and the referee will separate them. And there's a war. Oh, they took a point away from Alonzo Menifield. I am unsure what the deduction was for. Looks like he was trying to hold on to the one of the pads there. But they'll get back to the position. Crute punch in the stomach. Pardon me, Menifield punching the stomach for Crute. For fence grabbing. That was a point deducted for fence grabbing. So this will be a very interesting final 340. Menifield's back press to the fence, and now a shoulder strike from Crute. Crute continuing the drive into Menifield. Menifield now just pressuring the shoulders, and now Menifield got Crute down to both knees and can pull a guillotine if he can lock the head in. The head of Crute continuing to slip out. I'm sorry for Trigger D's parlay if this goes to the decision. Both men back to a vertical base, but Crute looking a little worse for wear, looking like somebody's drunk friend. And now Menifield looking to lock in a choke, but Crute will get out of it and get the takedown. And rolling over, now trying to go for a Kimura, maybe an armbar. Now on top is Jimmy Crute. Crute inside control now. Menifield trying to hold on. 2:47 left to go. This might get close and contentious on the scorecards. Trying to pull a Kimura is Alonzo Menifield, but Menifield can't hold on to it. Now trying to get up and under him is Crute. Crute on top. Figure fouring the right leg is Menifield. Menifield has avoided 6 of 12 takedowns. Crute has landed 50% of his takedowns so far. 2:20 left to go. Crute continuing to sit on top of Menifield onto his solar plexus. Menifield trying to transition around. A dangerous game, though, to give Jimmy Crute your back. Left hands from Crute. Rolls off and now back into side control. Under 2 minutes left to go in the round. And we will go to a decision, and then Trigger D will have very angry feelings. Minute 42. Menifield trying to scramble out again and then being held down in a, well, what would be considered a wrestling pin. Crute's top control time, 2.5 minutes in round 1, 90 seconds in round 2. And we're nearing the 2.5 minute mark here in round number 3. And if we're basing it off of that, Jimmy Crute wins this fight. But if you look at what Menifield did in the end of round 1 and the majority of round 2, you can make a case for either guy here. We might end up with a draw. A right hand from Crute lands 3 more while trying to take the back of Menifield. He's on top of him, Menifield and the Luther Campbell. And we're 1 minute remaining here in the third and final round of this light heavyweight fight.
This could be a hell of a comeback.
Yeah. Crute might be able to pull this one off with a little bit of benefit of the cage grabbing by Menifield. And maintaining the Luther Campbell with 40 seconds left to go. Now trying to climb up the back is Crute. He'll climb back down, but he is giving very tired punches. Trying to hold on. Here is Crute. Under a half minute now. Menifield trying to get back up. Crute in the Luther Campbell is Menifield. Crute trying to change sides and get him back down. He's back up standing, so is Menifield. Menifield trying to drag away from the clutches of Jimmy Crute. Menifield back to the fence, and now throwing some shots, trying to lock Crute up. Both of them back into a clinch here. Left hands to the ribs. Shoulder tack, and that will be the end of this one. We'll go to the scorecards. Take a look at the chat here. You always have Matt Trigg. Aw. I think so. I capitalized on Lonzo on DraftKings, though. Well, good luck to you on that one. Matt, you look at this fight. It was so fucking back and forth.
Yeah,
Menifield, Crute taking the first round, Crute controlling majority of the first round, but Menifield coming in and stealing and almost knocking Crute out. Getting several important knockdowns. It's just going to see how the judges scored the ends of each round. Because if you score it at the end of each round, you can give round 1 to Menifield, you can give round 2 to Crute. Round 3, at one point, right now, Jimmy Crute can win this fight in a very controversial manner. And let me know what you think in the chat if you're watching or you're listening. What you think is going on, what you think the prediction will be. That cage grabbing thing was such an unforced error by Menifield, too. You give yourself the opportunity, you limit your chance of getting a unanimous decision victory at that point. Because now, at best, it's going to be 9-9 if you have a dominant round. And shout out to Young Ed. UFOs over Montana. Fucking balloons. Ohio, there's a town in Ohio that's on fire. By the way, the fish are dying. Like the fucking, it's an actual problem. The spy balloon is the spy balloon. That's the whole thing. But there's a town in Ohio on fire, and a reporter got arrested for reporting a press conference. Fucking. The significant strikes were 70-17 for Menifield. 2 knockdowns by Menifield. 6 takedowns landed by Crute. 3 submission attempts by Crute. If you look at that, the significant strikes and knockdowns, I think, overweigh it and make it much harder for the judges to make a decision, but they do have an out. They have the out of how Crute won the first half of the first round and how Crute won the last 30 seconds of the second round. And we see the judges going over, oh, it's going to be a draw. Oh, it's going to be a split decision fucking draw. Because only time when you see a whole bunch of people huddled around Bruce Buffer, who's wearing a lovely, lovely jacket that I think is patterned after the visualizer in Windows Media Player back in the early 2000s. Nothing on that one. I thought that was a good joke. Fuck.
I'm sorry.
I got to work hard to get you to laugh.
I'm doing like 14 things.
I know. Well, let's take a look here at the scorecards. Take a look here. We go to the scorecards for the official decision. 29-27, 28-28, and 28-28. It is a split decision draw. I called it. Majority draw. Pardon me, a majority draw. But congratulations, Trigger. Your parlay is alive. And I forgot that Believe You Me is the interviewer for this. Yeah, like that was gonna. Menifield fucked himself out of a win. Like, that's an unforced error. He had no need, no reason to do that. And Crute being interviewed now, Menifield, he's got to be pissed at himself that this is probably a fight of the night contender. Like, I think this gets the bonus. Like, this gets a performance of the night bonus, in my opinion. I'd run this fight back because it was interesting, and I think that both of these guys getting a chance to scrap with each other for 15 minutes.
Don't you feel like a draw, though? You should run it back, like, automatically.
You think that, but this is the fight game. Like, nothing makes sense in fighting. Nothing fucking makes sense in fighting.
Fair, Matt. Fair. All right.
MG, if you can hold down the fort for like 35 seconds.
Okay.
Drinking champagne straight from the bottle does
stuff to you.
I got a tinky.
We're in an intermission, everybody. Here, I can even. All right. Okay. What everybody think of that first fight? I'm doing like 12 things at once, but I personally didn't mind it at all. Young Ed asked who we got the last 2 fights tonight. I don't know, but I think that main event's going to be fire. Oh, someone just did a shoey. Matt's going to be so disappointed he missed the shoey.
Back,
and
bitches.
He's back.
Last time
you missed the most important thing.
What
you missed
happened?
The shoey. You missed the
Damn
shoey.
it! Damn it!
I know. I knew you'd be
I ain't
upset
doing
about
that. You got to donate like $200 to get me to drink drink out of my shoes. Ugh. Dark Side 1985. They both seemed gassed in the last round. Yeah, they were pretty cooked.
Well, they were working. They were working for sure.
Yeah, they were. It was somebody else's shoe. Yeah, no, they do that. I don't know why people do that. Why?
No, just no.
Make it stop. Make it stop. You're gonna look at the chat. Young Ed, did I get a new wig? Yes, I got a brand new wig just for you, Ed. I went down to Maury's Wigs because, you know, they can survive anything. And I got myself a new piece. Nice and glued in there. Well, Trigger D said that Islam looked drained before weigh-ins, but gigantic after. And yeah, no, that'll gas you out, but then you rehydrate, and these guys rehydrate the fuck out of it. And Jens Pulver, who's streaming right now, will be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. Much deserved induction for him. And he is having a moment, a much deserved moment on his dog. Is that his wife or his kid? Yep, it's somebody in his life. Yeah, it's his kid. Aw. Oh, much deserved. I like moments like that, where you can actually celebrate the humanity of this very violent fucking thing. It is interesting how MMA kind of speed ran its prominence into the sports world. Like, it's only 30 years old. And it holds such resonance in the sports zeitgeist. And it's still in a bit of a shtetl. And I think that has a lot to do in the same way that pro wrestling is. The people at the top are viewed serious to a point. And I'm talking primarily about the two brand leaders, quote unquote, in the space. And I think that that's a real tough adjustment, because you saw the NFL got more respect when a Pete Rozelle showed up. Baseball always kind of held that point. The NBA with David Stern, you have the right leader and the right vision. Dana White was that for a very long time, but I honestly don't see the usefulness of a Dana White to the UFC in the long term. Like, he's become more of a distraction. He's taken a lot of shine off of his fighters. The Francis Ngannou incident, all the favoritism that has been very apparent.
Well, he also wants to be spread thin as well, right?
Yeah.
With the slap fight or fight, whatever that is.
Yeah. Let's not
Mm.
talk about that.
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to peel
fine.
off an old wound.
No, it's okay.
Or a fresher wound.
Yeah, no need to talk about that. Islam might walk into the cage tonight at 185 pounds, while Volk might walk in at 165, 170. That move up is going to be so interesting for Volkanovski. Like, that pivot is just going to be so... Like, you're moving up in weight, I think, is easier in theory than moving down in weight. But still, you may be undersized, and we've seen fighters like that. We saw Israel Adesanya move up to 205. And he was still underweight in comparison to the guy that he ended up losing to. And I think that's the inherent risk with that. Conor McGregor, in theory, should move up to 170 because 155 just doesn't fit his frame anymore. Jens Pulver will officially enter into the pioneer wing of the UFC Hall of Fame.
Nice.
And Toker88 says the new goal is to get Matt to do a shoey. Well, if we make... All right. If we make $350 tonight on Super Chats, the next show, I will do a shoey. Jens Pulver now looks like Logic, and I don't know what to do with that information. Because at one point, Jens Pulver also one of the most dangerous people in general on the planet Earth. But seeing him as a streamer with braces, it's just like the humanizing of our gladiators is such an interesting process.
Oh, and you see him doing something else, and you're like,
yeah. It's like this isn't a direct comparison, but like Babe Ruth at the end, just that shriveled up old man. Like there's a weird period where you just kind of get lost, and then when you come back, you just look like a completely different person. Good. Darkside 1985. Can we pick the drink? The person who donates the most money can pick what it is I'll drink out of the shoe.
So what's the number? $350?
$350. Raiden Thacker.
Straight cash, homie. Straight cash, homie. Straight cash, homie.
Donating $19.99 to the cause. So, do we count the initial donation? I think we count the initial donation. So we are. Yeah. We are
still a healthy number.
Yeah, we still got about $310 left to raise before I do a shoey on March 4th. The UFC Hall of Fame induction will be this July during International Fight League. Joker88 is a bad person.
I got it up on my end. I could tell you when we
actually
did.
You're a bad fucking person. Also, I like that we're competing against the UFC on Twitch when it comes to this watch-along. If you want to piss off the UFC, have them come watch the guy drinking champagne out of a bottle for no real fucking reason, aside from the fact that very good friends of mine got me and my roommate a bottle. Well, got me and Steph. Not the same fucking my roommate. Stephanie Sotile, you know who the fuck's... Yeah, you know she's my roommate. Jesus Christ. But coming up next, it's Thick Boy season. As Justin Taffa and Parker Porter will fight. Parker Porter sounds like an early UFC fighter name, right? Like, you can see Parker Porter on a card, and he lost to Dan Severn in the first round, or he faced Shamrock or a Gracie. Stephen Kelleher, a dab in a shoe. How would we even do that? Also, Parker Porter also looks like Mike Golick Jr. for fans of sports podcasts. He just does. Like, I don't know what else to do with that information that I just gave you, but we are one fight down here tonight. A shout out to everybody watching.
And you know they're not worried about finishing these fights at any given time because it'll be mid-afternoon.
Oh no, they care more about the American audience than they do the Australian audience.
What, making us stay up late?
Yeah. Well, not everybody has to donate. You don't have to. If you want to. If you want me to drink out of a shoe, or you just like the show.
It's just a fun incentive for next week.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be a big show, and we're going to try to have some fun. I'm going to try to have a couple more things set up for us.
And it's the night before a Catalyst Wrestling show, so I will be a mess.
Did
I tell you what happened to my tooth?
No.
2 days after the last Catalyst show, 3 days after the last time we were here, I fucking cracked a wisdom tooth.
Oh, that sounds painful.
No, it didn't hurt. Oh, Toker88.
Straight cash, homie. Straight cash, homie.
Donating $10 to the Shoey cause. And here we see Parker Porter from Hartford, Connecticut, making the walk to the octagon. That just sounds like a generic guy you would fight in UFC story mode. A dab out of a Nike Shox. Where the fuck would I get a Nike Shox? And do they still make Nike Shox? What? Where would that even? I don't even know anymore. I don't know, man. Parker Porter, a BJJ brown belt, last fought in May. He got submitted by Jaliton Almeida, ending a 3-fight winning streak. Wins in the UFC were all by unanimous decisions, bookmarked by the Los Almeida and Chris Dauskas. He's knocked out 5, submitted 3, 4 by decision. Been knocked out twice, submitted 3 times, and disqualified once. That's always the weird thing when you see someone's been disqualified in MMA. Like in wrestling, that's just part of the fucking job. But seeing that in like boxing or mixed martial arts is always a weird stat. Most significant strikes in a 3-round UFC heavyweight fight with 129. Chase Sherman in 2021, 8th highest significant strike runaway rate. You want to? Some people suggesting bringing up the stats now, but here, Delgado's tequila soda. Like, I think I'm at the point where I can say I enjoy a White Claw. Like, I genuinely enjoy White Claw because it's fairly tasty. And I feel like we don't have to shame people for that anymore. I'm drinking rosé out of a fucking bottle, so I really don't care anymore. Trigger D calling Parker Porter the missing Godwin. That's a good one. That's a good one. And Justin Taffa will make his walk to the octagon. And for Taffa, he's a BJJ blue belt. Had one fight of the night. That's against Jared Vander Aa. As we said earlier, his last fight was in December of 2021 when he knocked out Harry Hunsucker. He fights with the most interestingly named people. Fighting Parker Porter and then Harry Hunsucker. Like, who's he gonna fight next? Like, Mark Markson? Like, what the fuck goes on here? Who's naming these people? Who's making these fights? I'm very confused. I want to yell at their parents. And Trigger D is right. Taffa can crack. Yeah, that boy can throw some hands. Stanley Franklin, we're still shaming out here. Yeah, shame me. Bust my ball. As been seen over the last 3 to 4 years we've been doing this, back at the old place and here, but let's give Taffa these stats. Last fight was against Hunsucker with a first-round head kick knockout. Yeah, Justin Taffa, who's like 245, 250, maybe at the 265 mark, head kicked somebody. Smallest amount of bottom time in UFC heavyweight history with 1 second. Man, 1 second of bottom time, you really just can't. Oh, I'm sorry, something different. But Justin Taffa, a bad motherfucker. Very bad man who is in the octagon. He's also got a farmer's tan, which is... Would you fight someone with an active farmer's tan, Matt? Like as a person, do you think that that's something you would walk away from as a positive experience?
Hey, I live in like the sticks. I'm sure I have fought someone with a farmer's tan.
That's fair. That's fair. I forget you live in the wilderness.
In the boondocks?
Yeah.
The wilderness that is Michigan.
Hey. Snow and abandoned Ford plants. Somewhere out in the distance, someone's playing Aretha Franklin. Brigadier, you saying Taffa came in at 267 once, I think. That's frightening. That's a murder, man. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Taffa 29, Parker Porter 37. Both of them 6 foot. Taffa 266. The limit of heavyweight. Parker Porter at 264. Porter with the slight reach advantage, 75 to 74. Stanley Franklin, Hunsucker versus Malarkey. Yep, book the fight. Hunsucker versus Yadong. Like, yeah, I'm down with that. And you can't say that doesn't look like the fucking visualizer on Windows Media Player. Like, you can't tell me that. You can't say that I'm wrong for thinking that Bruce Buffer's jacket looks like that. Like, if you think the opposite of that, fuck you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't know you. It's good that I don't know you. And once again, fuck you.
Tell us how you really feel.
It is astonishing that you guys hired me. That's just all I'm going to say. For those who don't know now, you know I'm Matt Ryan, joined by MG Geek, Stephanie Sotilli on vacation, Brendan Sokler nursing a sick cat who just got out of surgery. Shout out to Nandor. And you can donate to his GoFundMe by going to his Instagram. That's Instagram.com/Brendan Sokler. That's Instagram.com/Brendan Sokler. You can also head on over to my Twitter. That's at Matt Ryan Yells, at Matt Ryan Yells, for some of that good stuff.
You got to know you're cool. You got a cool cat when he has his own GoFundMe.
Yeah. And we'll be sharing that in the chat here. I tweeted it on my end. I'll drop it via the A7FL account that I'm on. Round number 1, both men. It's thick boy season here for UFC. Left hand by Taffa. Porter looking like the Dollar General Bam Bam Bigelow, standing in the center of the octagon. Taffa on his back foot throws a left uppercut. And Porter and Taffa circle back to the center of the octagon. Up kick by Taffa, followed by a left hand. Leading with the right, Porter, missing wildly with a right hand, came in with a left and a body kick. Shout out to Marathon Refrigeration, donating $5 to the cause. Swung around was Porter. And Porter gets dropped, shopped, and head-topped. That one's over. Justin Taffa, in under a round, lights the lamp and sends Parker Porter back to the naming factory. Oh, that boy's gone. Sweet backflipping Jesus. He needs a little help.
Speed the program up. Jesus.
Oh, boy. Just past 11 p.m. in the Eastern Standard Time Zone. I'm Matt Ryan, joined by the fanciful MG Geek. And we'll dissect the knockout, because it came out of fucking nowhere, Matt.
It was like a low right hand.
We'll take a look. Yeah, we'll take a look here at the replay. Comes overhand with the left. And then, a right uppercut right on the jaw. He had him with the first one, but he just stopped it.
He knocked him into the knockout punch.
Shot.
Wow.
Then chaser. Bang. Overhand left right into that right uppercut. Boom shakalaka, as Stanley Franklin said. Oh, that's just a quick 1-2, too. That's just a simple combination, not too fancy. Porter stepped inside, even though he had the reach advantage, and he got his lights completely dimmed. And Justin Taffa will go to 6-3 in his 9th fight, and we will get the official scorecard. And it looks Porter is still being looked at by the medical professionals. He will make his way to the center of the octagon, though. And Taffa getting a big win here. That to me is performance of the night worthy, when you just completely devastate a person. Look at that. We're an hour in, and we've already are 2 fights down. I'm proud of us. Proud of us as a family. Combos get seriously underutilized, said Toker88, and I agree. Both the concept in combat sports and the food. I like combos. Combos are fucking
Gotta love a good combo platter.
I'm talking about the pretzel things. Not like a combo platter. Well, combo platters are also awesome, but I feel like it's implied.
I got you.
You're preaching to the choir here. I'm wearing a dress shirt and sweatpants. Well, that's just because you don't see the bottom half of me. You gotta pay for that. That's extra money.
That's gonna be way more of a super chat.
Yeah, that's some of that Andrew Zarian money. Like, you gotta get some of that Andrew Zarian money to see me pantsless.
Oh, man.
No takers? No takers.
Crickets.
But Taffa getting the knockout, and now we wait for the next fight, which will take probably forever.
Yeah, they're going to take a minute. We're going to have some time on our hands here.
I don't like it. Want to eat my sandwich. I'm sorry for the people who watched last time who saw me eat dinner during the show.
Well, Steph kind of just egged you on. Just do it.
Yeah,
it was
that
fine.
is true.
I didn't mind. No, I don't think anyone minded.
Well, I'm glad nobody minded. That's what I care about.
If they did,
fuck them.
It's part of the gimmick. It's the gimmick.
That's true. That is very true. My gimmick is being a fat piece of shit. Taking a look here at the chat. Number 2 taco plate combo at Los Alajances. Fuck. There's a taco place by me that's called Gringos. They have a chicken and
Well, that
waffle
sounds-
taco. Their carnitas tacos are fucking great. But their chicken and waffle taco is so fucking good, man. It's so, so good. Ugh. And you guys did vote for the fact that, yeah, Virginia Valley, Toker 88, you guys are right. You did vote for it. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys allowing me to eat and just allowing me to enjoy and live my life. You're all the name Sweeties is very implied. Fosushi said, "Had me at taco." You also had me at taco, which is also the name of the first movie I was going to produce. You had me at taco. It's going to be a rom-com about two hipsters meeting each other in front of a Williamsburg taco truck. All of our funding was pulled because of the pandemic. Am I telling the truth or am I telling a lie?
It makes a good story. Don't worry about it.
But please do give a follow at Matt Ryan Yells at 2 Fight Forever. Please and thank you. And also give us some money.
Straight cash, homie. Straight cash, homie.
We're about $300 away from getting me to do a shoey on our next show. They're showing koalas and other indigenous Australian wildlife. It does feel like when YouTube TV goes to break and they have those very relaxing scenes of nature. But it's just B-roll in between violence contests. Trigger G, I would smash 12 tacos right now. I have a chicken parm sandwich just on the other side of the camera. I'm so mad at myself. Young Ed, tacos and Eagles tomorrow. Stanley Franklin, spaghetti and chili dip for the Superb Owl. Yeah, let me know what you guys are making for the big game. I'm going to be making homemade barbecue sauce, chicken thighs, and homemade French fries. Or homemade potato chips.
Damn good.
Yeah, we have this garlic bread seasoning at the house, and it's so fucking good. You put some oil in a pan, chop them up, season the potatoes once, and then you season them after you cook them. And let me know who you guys think is going to win the big game. Jalen Hurts is so good, but this is the first real challenge I think they'll have this offseason.
That defense of Kansas City is sick.
It's violent.
Sick.
It's fucked up. But I'm excited for a big game. Also excited for A7FL football to get started on March 26th. If you want to hear me yell every single week and not just MMA related, you can follow the A7FL YouTube channel. You can watch old highlights. It's the reason why I got on SportsCenter. So go A7FL. And if you like no helmets, no pads football, well, you guys like MMA, so of course you'll like this. And it's featuring one of my bosses, UFC co-founder David Isaacs, is on the advisory board. So go to a7fl.tv or subscribe now on YouTube. And, of course, Catalyst Wrestling coming back March 5th at the Bell House. Tickets are on sale now at catalystwrestling.com. The return of Peter Avalon, Tracy Hot Sauce Williams, Homicide, and a whole lot more. Our main event is going to be Big Bad Kaiju O'Shea Edwards taking on Darius Carter in a champion versus champion match. And on top of that, we'll get drunk and have a good time. It's a fun Sunday. It's before the AEW pay-per-view, so come hang out, come have fun. And if you can't make it to the show, you can get streamcatalyst.wrestling.com. You get a free 2 weeks at sign-up. It's just $10 a month or $100 a year. If you do that, and let me know in the chat, I will do something very cool for you within reason. I can't, come to your niece's bat mitzvah. I don't think you'd want me at your niece's bat mitzvah. Maybe Olive. Maybe we'll bring Olive.
By the way, I will tell you, Matt, I heard nothing but good things about your last Catalyst show.
Yeah, it's
so congrats on
burner.
that.
Thank you so much. If you want to see someone try to stab someone with a piece of a door, and a whole bunch of weird shit. There was Poison Pen showed up. There was a rap battle. Someone beat up a rat. It was a whole fucking to-do. We had a heavy hitter as our DJ. It was a whole goddamn deal. But go to streamcatalyst.wrestling.com. And we'll take a look here at the chat. Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett are up next. Oh, no, pardon me. It's Randy Brown and Jack Della Madalena. Randy Brown, getting checked in now at the Octagon, at Octagon side. BJJ Brown belt, one-time performance of the night winner against Warley Alves. Winner of his last 4, 3 by decision, 1 by submission. the most recent being a unanimous decision against Francisco Trinaldo. His last loss was in 2020 by knockout against Vicente Luque. Knocked out 6, submitted in decision 5. He's been knocked out once and submitted in decision once. Ooh, Darkside 1985 making brisket for the Superb Owl. And trigger picking Randy Brown. Yeah, you're making pulled pork, buddy. Like you're going all out.
Pork butts going in after I get done here. It'll be in all night.
Ooh.
And pulled pork sandwich sliders with roasted potato wedges.
Ooh.
And the little pigs in the blanket, the little mini ones.
Oh, I love those.
Doing those
are
with
great.
Some cheese sauce. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Like we hold the Super Bowl party here at the house about almost every year. We didn't do it this year because Steph's on vacation. I'm busy as fuck, and I kind of just wanted a day off after calling football for a month straight. So I'm gonna be cooking for myself. I may go get some chopped meat and make sliders or something, but it'll be me, my friend Dr. Green Thumb, whatever's left of this bottle of Moet Chandon and the Fat Baby, straight chilling. I may go. I have some wine too, but I may go get like a thing of beer. But taking a look here, Stanley Franklin. I'm hitting Matt's then dark side. I don't know what that means. That was a weird sentence, but yeah, I can go for some good barbecue. Underrated barbecue side, pierogi. There's this place by me that serves pierogies, and they're a barbecue place.
That sounds interesting, to say the least.
It's fucking great. But enough of food talk. Here comes Jack Della Maddalena getting a hero's welcome in his hometown with Devon Sawa from the Stand video hair, or that of a young William Burr. One of 2 active Australian welterweights making his walk to the octagon. And Trigger D by Stockton. That's a...
Of course you bring out AC/DC as your walkout music.
You've got to.
Someone's got to do it in Australia, right?
Yeah. And there's someone with a bucket hat. I'm trying to discern who the fuck that is. I think it's a UFC fighter. Della Madalena is on a 13-fight win streak, second longest active knockout streak in the UFC with 3, 4-0 knockdown ratio. So for every 4 people he's knocked down, none of them have knocked him down. That's fucked. That's fucked. Stanley Franklin just pulled his pork back to the fights. We're adults here. We are adults on this show, and I'm glad to be one of the adults with you. Because this is where we are in our lives on February 11th, 2023. Let me know your predictions for the fight. Let me know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're drinking on, what you're imbibing on this Saturday night. I'm Matt Ryan, joined by MG Geek, Olive the Fat Baby, Stephanie Sotilli on vacation, Brendan Sokler on cat dad duty. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Della Madalena, 26, Randy Brown, 32. The tallest active welterweight is Randy Brown at 6'3". Della Madalena is at 5'11", both at 171 pounds, and a huge reach advantage for Brown, 78-73. Trigger D is Eskimo Brothers with Chris Avila. Glad you shared that with us, because we've done embarrassing confessions on this show before. That one is up there. But I gotta go with Randy Brown. He's a boy from Queens. He's from my neck of the woods. He's from New York. So I feel like, and also we're on a network owned by a company called Guys from Queens. Like, we can't really, can't shit on that. Can't say that, oh no, fuck Queens. Then Andrew will call and yell at us with his pretty hair.
Andrew will first ask if you live in Brooklyn, and then bury you for forever.
I'll chase him with this fucking bottle of champagne. I don't give a fuck. But if you want to give us
straight cash, homie. Straight cash, homie.
Donate to the Super Chat
Straight cash, homie.
or go to patreon.com
Straight cash, homie.
/Danny White.
Straight cash, homie.
I'm Matt Ryan, joined by MG Geek. We're glad you are joining us for UFC 284 as we continue to build back our live broadcasting empire after we made a decision to go independent. And it seems like it panned out so far. So, sleep better after shows. I'm kidding. Shout out to all those guys. And we go at round number 1. And Brown chasing Della Maddalena around the octagon, back to the center. Leg kick missed by Della Maddalena. Randy Brown leading with that left hand. Solid left-right combination. Not landing, though. Leg kick by Della Maddalena. About 30 seconds gone by. Round number 1. Della Maddalena eats a left hand, a right hand from Randy Brown. Another left hand from the Queens native. Left-right combination not landed by Della Maddalena. Avoiding a left hand was Brown. Leg kick and barely landing by Della Maddalena. Savate kick to the knee landed by Randy Brown. Brown leading with that left hand. Push kick. Looked like it almost caught Della Maddalena in the dick and balls. But we roll on here. Open hand slap from Brown does not land. Gets caught on the gloves of Della Maddalena. Over a minute gone by here. Randy Brown pressed up against the fence. He'll bounce off. Leg kick by Della Maddalena. Feigning the left hand was Brown. Left hand thrown by Della Maddalena. Continuing the pressure, left-right combination. Now leading with that left hand was Randy Brown. Looking to create space. Left-right combination does land. Brown controlling the tempo of this fight. Don't know if Della Maddalena is lying in wait or not. Leading with the left hand was Della Maddalena. Brown pushing back against the fence. Missing the left hand. Brown having his hands down after that shot from Della Maddalena. Brown up against the fence. He's a right hand and he is down. And he face plants into the canvas. Della Maddalena landing shots with impunity. Brown in trouble. This fight should have ended as Della Maddalena. Annie, are you okay? Into the fucking canvas. He went head first and he taps in the RNC. Jack Della Maddalena coming in. And it doesn't matter if you're singing Malaguena or not. Someone send the fat lady because Randy Brown is done. Whoo, he got fucked up. Sorry, Trigger. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, man.
Cooked City.
My
God
feed's
damn.
a little behind yours, so I'm like, just now, wow.
He fucked that boy up. You saw how he landed, right?
Yeah.
The replay's coming up now.
It looked like the ref could have actually stopped it there.
Yeah, he should have. There's the overhand right, catches him on the point of the jaw. Brown covers his chin, lands flare flop straight down. Then Della Maddalena keeps throwing shots, covering up. Was Brown. And just...
The doctor's waiting for him. It was like,
yeah.
Are you all right, buddy? Damn.
That was... And we're already at... It's 11:15, and we're already... 11:17, and we're already at our co-main event of the evening. So yeah.
Wow. Damn.
We've got two fights
because
left, but both of them are
these
5-rounders.
Yeah. But these two fights were less than what? First round knockouts, so...
We had one fight go the distance, and then we had our last two fights, and then the first.
Well,
thank you, Tiffany. You're very sweet.
I think the main event will hopefully deliver. Oh man, I just seen the replay. Wow.
Yeah.
Like he pile drove himself.
Yeah, he flare flopped right onto that motherfucker.
Well, Flair stays straight when he flops. This guy's head was going like he was doing a swan dive or something.
Mm. AMG, can you zoom me out a little bit?
Zoom you out a little bit? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I just
One
noticed
moment.
something that might get us in trouble.
Okay. You let me give me a moment.
Oh, no worries. Or zoom me in a little bit, actually. Zoom me in. Like, take
Gotcha.
down my headroom a little bit.
Gotcha.
Someone narked on themselves. Unless they were actually being complimentary, but... Sorry, guys, we can't get copyright striked. Thank you, Foe. You're a very sweet man for pointing that out. But yeah, just
Come on.
no worries. If I got to do it myself, I can do it myself. I'm glad you like the photo, by the way. I really love this. This is all Steph's photos that we set up here in the new studio
Is that
after
better?
we put the last one down. Let me see.
Let me know if that's better.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Want a little more? I can go a little more.
Just a little more. Just a little more. I'm gonna move more this way. There we go. That should be fine.
There we go. There we go. You're into our little scroller, but you're fine.
Yeah, it's fine. But I'm Matt Ryan, joined by MG Geek, Stephanie Sotili on vacation, Brendan Sokler helping the convalescence of his cat, Nandor the Relentless. We dropped the GoFundMe in the chat ski. So if you're able to donate, be really sweetie. You'd be some sweet beans if you do that. They're about a third of the way to their goal. And you're right, Trigger. I do have integrity. And there's Logan Paul and KSI.
Of course.
At the UFC show. Kai Kara France wearing a shirt that looks like a jacket I once wore as Matthew Ryan Shapiro. Uriah Faber in the crowd wearing what looks like a Sabu. Oh, no, it's a Volkanovski t-shirt. I thought it was an old Sabu shirt for a second. And Daniel Cormier and Ryan Clark's podcast being sponsored now. And what do we got coming up on Wrestling Observer Live tomorrow, which will probably drop here on Matt Minute at some point. But be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I don't do Wrestling Observer.
Do you want an inside?
Yeah.
Inside sneak.
Yeah, shill,
We're
baby,
not doing
shill.
a show this week.
Oh, because of
We're
the superb
skipping.
owl.
Because nobody is fucking watching.
That's fair. That's fair.
Or
Everybody,
listening.
I will. By the time Cheryl Lee Ralph comes out, I will not be saying words. I will be a gelatinous mess on my couch.
They'll play rerun.
Yeah.
Let's face it, no one's watching.
Should be a best of. It should just be all of my segments. I'm pretty.
All of your segments.
Yeah, just all of them.
We
in a
miss
row.
you.
I know. My schedule got too fucked up, man. I just got too busy.
Especially, I've been pretty much, I would say co-host. I kind of chime in here and there. That's how it works.
It's the one Matt
Pretty
rule.
much
You
how
need
it
at
is
least
here.
one Matt talking per show.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty much
a
the
Josh
same ratio
Emmett shirt.
here.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen Kelleher. Thank you for that. He does fight a Uriah's gym. That's why he does that. But it is co-main event time. They are promoting the return of John Jones. Can someone get me the odds of whether or not the fight actually happens? Because that's the interesting part to me. If the fight actually happens,
Do you think they have odds on that? That
it's the internet. They got odds on fucking everything. Feel like somewhere out there on some obscure sports book in Barbados, they're betting on what I'm drinking. So, one of those things. But Gon versus John Jones. I don't know, man. Like, Gon got in his first title fight. I don't know if coming back to go up against a guy like Cyril Gane. Fuck, bro. Like, that's
You want to close this poll, by the way?
Yeah, close the poll. Let's see who won.
71.
It was a runaway.
It was a blowout.
Yeah, 71 to 29. Slurpee over Icy. Might as well make our next poll. Who's going to win the next fight? Yair Rodriguez or Josh Emmett? Drop that one in the chat ski.
We do that right now.
But the card for the next show is pretty fun. Can't believe the UFC let a guy that hits like a Ford Escort go for a guy that will hit escorts with a Ford. It's a good one. That's a good turn of phrase. And he didn't hit an escort. He hit a pregnant woman. Very different. Very different. That was a good fucking joke. Say that. Man, like, John Jones at one point was the baddest dude on the planet, but I really don't know what to make of him anymore. He kind of falls into the same thing with Conor, and even with Conor, he got fights in the last couple of years. John Jones hasn't fought in 3 years, 4 years? Since the fucking pandemic, I would have to say. And this is his first fight at heavyweight, and he's fighting for the title. It's just such a fucking... Tiffany Shriver, Matt, I've been thinking since the fight was announced, would Jones even make it to the fight? And what if Jones loses? Will he fight again? I don't know. Like, there's a lot of will they, won't they shit with a lot of top names in the UFC. And I gotta think that's not good for business. Like, you're seeing a lot of that. You've seen a lot of that play out in wrestling before. You've seen it play out in boxing. The lead up to Mayweather and Pacquiao was that. But fuck, it's hard for me to discern a guy out of the octagon for so long, moving up a weight class, going up against a guy who is a versatile striker. How do you...
If I'm his camp, I'm like, listen, until this camp's over, until this fight's over, you're pretty much in our own personal jail.
But that's
our
the
house
thing.
arrest.
Shit like that's happened before, and he's still got pop for PEDs. Like, the majority of the things that have fucked him up in the octagon of being having bad piss.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the whole picograms thing, which was fucking laughable. And I like that one of the fights on the pay-per-view card is Jalen Turner versus TBD. Because I'm paying $80 to see Jalen Turner TBD. Jumping, Jesus Christ.
See, okay, so I'll give you a good example. Fox here has a good one. Throw up on the screen. Says John Jones, #1 GOAT of all time. Yes, he would be. If you take away all the legal stuff, he's absolutely the best. He would be the best ever without question. But because of all the legal stuff, you know, there's so many more people that have better records than it. He would. He might have retired with that light heavyweight title.
Yeah, he could have. For all intents and purposes, he could have retired completely at 205 and been one of the greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's still good. Don't get me wrong. I just think, you know, it's when I hear John Jones' name, I don't think great fighter. I think, what did he do now? Mm-hmm. You know, if he comes up, that's what I think. Mm-hmm.
And that's something that... Like, athletes have always had that other side of them. Mickey Mantle, you know, Babe Ruth, like Jim Brown, like all these players have had their deficiencies, the places where they do too much. Darryl Strawberry, perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
But the brazenness of John Jones and all the shit that comes out of it, and he's been... It doesn't feel like he's been punished for it, but it feels like he's just put himself in this exile. And I don't know how to truly feel about that, and I really don't know how to view the totality of his career, especially since, you know, it's not done yet. If he had fought his last fight...
Trigger D I think has a good one here. This is a good top 3.
GSP, Khabib, and Mighty Mouse. That's fair. But
very fair. Mighty Mouse is hard, though, because Mighty Mouse was so above everyone else in that 125 division.
It was the Ronda effect. He was great until everybody leveled up. And when everybody leveled up, he couldn't keep up. at least at the UFC level. In one, he's seemingly having more success, but for me, it's hard to do an overall top 3. I think the sport,
Right.
and that's with all sports. I think you have to, because we were talking about LeBron and Jordan before we got on the air, and to me, LeBron's the greatest basketball player of this generation, of this era. You can combine him with the greats of bygone eras. Like him and Jordan are the two at the top. And then below them are Wilt and Kareem, Magic and Larry Bird, Charles Barkley. There's a plethora, the Bob Cousy's of the world, the Clyde Frazier's, the greats of this game. But with MMA, it's still such a narrow window, but there have been so many generations and eras that it's hard to encapsulate that in a top 3 list, because what are the qualities that designate a top 3 or a top 5 in the sport? And also, there's a lot of fighters with pasts, and there's a lot of fighters. Conor McGregor threw a fucking guardrail and a hand truck at a bus. They are not.
I got one here.
Yeah,
I got one here in my local area that a guy that did some questionable decisions, but he's loved here, and that's Miguel Cabrera. In my area.
Floyd Mayweather. He's from Lansing. Like, he's right.
No,
up
he's
the
from
road.
Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't really talk about being from there too much now.
No.
But
he's been living in Vegas the majority of his life. So.
Yeah.
Josh Emmett making the walk to the octagon.
Well, when I lived in Grand Rapids, dude, the sports page, every time he was fighting or a fight was coming up, there was a Mayweather article every single day. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think it's the same for Clarissa Shields in Flint, too.
Yeah, it is, especially when there's a fight coming up, but she's not as... It's the women's boxing thing is very... I mean, she's beloved here, don't get me wrong, but it's just... The women's boxing, some people don't even know it exists,
The problem is there's not a high enough caliber of competition in her weight classes. Like, there's not an Amanda Serrano. There's not a Katie Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's better fighters for them at the lower weight classes.
Yeah. And that's the issue. That was the issue Kayla Harrison had in the PFL.
Yeah.
Up until this year when she took her first loss, was like,
she actually got beat. Yeah, I saw that.
How do you justify a basically one person weight class, which is what Demetrius Johnson was towards the end of his run?
Yeah, that was interesting too with her, because I thought she was going to come here to UFC, and she didn't. She said, "Oh, I'm going to re-sign here."
Money's money, man. Like, they signed Jake Paul. And shout out to Josh Emmett's tattoo, which I know is not the Tiki Idol from Crash Bandicoot, but I can still dream. Emmett on a 5-fight win streak, tied for the most knockdowns in featherweight history with 11. Highest knockdown rate in UFC featherweight history, 1.65 per 15 minutes. And it seems like we're going to have our last fight at midnight. So we're in a pretty good spot. We're in a pretty good spot right now.
Well, they're going to bleed it out to like 12:30.
Why would you put that in the fucking universe, bro?
Because I'm evil.
I thought we were friends. I want to eat my chicken parm and walk my dog.
I'm your evil friend.
No, you are the furthest away from my evil friends. You're such a sweet boy.
Sometimes.
And Joey, Trigger D, the Joey Diaz reference, like, I feel like a lot of these guys would need to play a Joey Diaz ramp-up clip or like a hype speech to get them ready for the octagon. Like, how do you prepare for that? Like, what's the thing that you listen to? Because what I listen to get hyped up and amped up kind of changes. It could be Wu-Tang, it could be Warren Zevon, it could be any plethora of things. But Fo Sushi picking Yair Rodriguez. Let's take a look at the chat right now in terms of the votes. Right now it's 80-20 Yair over Josh Emmett, which is interesting. I would pick Yair in this fight. I think Yair is going to get the win. But 80-20 is such a wide margin.
Wow.
Emmett, Stephen Kelleher saying Emmett is like that Stone guy. Fair play. Fair play. Fair play. Thank you so much for joining us here on Matt Men. I'm Matt Ryan, joined by MG Geek, Brendan Sokol, and Stephanie Sotilli. Off this show, Brendan for cat reasons, Steph for vacation reasons. Olive the Fat Baby is somewhere in this studio. Olive, I love you. I thought I should say that not on mute so I could prove the fact that I love my dog. But here comes Yair Rodriguez. He is amped the fuck up for this fight. His chance to be the interim UFC Featherweight champion. Stephen Chapman listens to DMX. Stephen Kelleher, The Thing. Yes, the Rock Man. Stone guy. Yes. Trigger D, I listen to some X-Rated to get ready. Interesting.
What are we getting ready for? I'm sorry, I missed the
our co-main event. Our co-main event of the evening.
To get ready to get ready for it.
Yeah, just to get hyped up. Like the song that gets you hyped up. The thing that like drives you to go like, I'm gonna fuck shit up. The revolution will not.
Rage Against the Machine, Guerrilla Radio.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, and Yair Rodriguez's mom gives him sign of the cross. Oh yeah, Rage. Run the Jewels. Run the Jewels lately has been up there for me, and Yair Rodriguez's mom hugs him twice, gives him the sign of the cross, daps him up, and he walks into the octagon. Look at me, I'm Yair Rodriguez, and I have a good relationship with my mom. Been working on it in therapy, I promise. RAP by King ISO, according to Trigger D. Boy George, according to Young Ed. Karma Chameleon slaps. Or do you really want to hurt me? Like, there's some bangers there. What are some of the other songs by Culture Club? I know they had like another hit. They didn't just have 2 hits. Tied for the most Fight of the Night awards in the featherweight division history with 5. Latest finish in featherweight history, 0.01 seconds in round 5 against the Korean Zombie in 2018. Tied for 3rd most performance awards in featherweight division with 8. Drowning Pool Bodies by Faux Sushi. It's a good one. It just makes me think of 2001 wrestling and a one-handed cartwheel by Rodriguez. Tumble for you. Thank you, Raiden Thacker. I tumble for you. Also, if you donate $20 to the Super Chat, which I think a few of you had, I owe you guys songs, so let me know. Trigger D, War, Why Can't We Be Friends?
Oh.
Stephen Kelleher, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting Elton John. Virginia Valley, I know the why of it, but why is it? It's just weird for the interim championship to be fought before literally the fight for the championship fight. That's fair. Emmett, 37, looks all of 46 against Rodriguez, 5'11" to 5'6.5", both at 145 pounds, despite the huge height advantage, the 4.5-inch height advantage. Rodriguez only has a 1-inch reach advantage on Emmett at 71 to 70.
I was really confused, by the way, Matt.
Yes.
When you sent me the card over and I was looking at it,
yeah,
you typoed the main event.
Son of a dick.
You had it as the featherweight championship, and this is the interim featherweight championship.
It's for the lightweight championship. Yes. The featherweight champion is fighting.
I figured it. I fixed it, but I was like, wait a minute. So yeah, I was all confused. Like, why are they crowning interim champion for a championship that's going to be the very next fight? I was all confused.
Trigger D, Bad Leroy Brown. That's a good one. Anything out of the Jim Croce songbook is great by me. Josh Emmett from Sacramento, California. He looks like he's from Sacramento. No offense to anybody who lives in Northern California.
You know one that always gets me hyped up that I've just started hearing again because of that movie, but Grandmaster Flash, White Line Highway.
Oh, yeah, because of Cocaine Bear, right?
Yeah, I heard that. I was like, oh my God, where'd that song come from, and why do I remember it from my childhood?
OG Bobby Johnson freestyle by Kevin Gates will make you want to give a motherfucker a flying elbow and a jack in the box, said Trigger D. Shit, I kind of want to do that now. I've only been the one Jack in the Box, and it was in Nashville It was near a Waffle House. It was very good. Raiden Thrasher, the Moana soundtrack. Respect it. Weird Al's Dare to Be Stupid, according to Virginia Valley. Yes, great answer. Great fucking answer. As someone who's seen him at Carnegie Hall, Radio City, and fucking the stadium out in Queens. Great time, great music. It's worth it. It's worth the concert experience. I've seen him like just the band with an orchestra and the full stage show. Each time, fucking great. But never mind that shit. It's time to crown an interim featherweight champion. It's Rodriguez and Emmett. It's Bill Burr of the future going up against one of the best fighters in the world. Well, two of the best fighters in the world going at it with each other, but I don't have a comp for Yair Rodriguez face-wise. And here we go, round number 1 of 5 for the interim UFC Featherweight Championship. Rodriguez will draw Emmett into the center of the octagon. Trying to create the first positive motion. Question is, what would be your hype song? What's the song that gets you hyped up before you do anything big? 30 seconds gone by, and our first strike is a push kick by Rodriguez. No fall throw, no bullshit. That was the first actual landed strike of the fight. 30 seconds in. Pacing back and forth, some electric football vibes here from both fighters. Head kick missed by Rodriguez. Kick to the leg. Tried to spin out of it was Emmett, but did not throw a strike there. Emmett yet to land a strike here. Just about a minute gone by in round 1 of 5. Rodriguez making Emmett chase as he's around the outer layer of the octagon. Trying to step in towards the center is Rodriguez. Head kick attempt blocked by Emmett. Kick to the body, right hand, and another one by Rodriguez. Continuing to put pressure is Rodriguez. Emmett on his bicycle, circling around the octagon, steps inside and steps back out. Continue to circle. Rodriguez will feign a leg kick attempt. Push kick into a head kick. Neither land by Rodriguez. 3:16, what left to go in the round? Kick to the thigh by Rodriguez. He's on his bicycle now. He'll step inside. Kick to the body and then a right hand by Rodriguez. He'll get out before Emmett can land a strike. 2 quick lefts from Rodriguez. 3 minutes left to go in the round. Nearing the halfway point of round number 1. A little bit of swelling on the nose of Josh Emmett here. He's also a pasty man, so that could just be normal for him. Trying to feign the takedown was Rodriguez. Kick to the rib cage. Emmett steps in. It's a firefight. Both men land some shots. Rodriguez landing more in that one. Lands a body kick and a left hand. Chases Emmett. He'll step back. 2.5 minutes now, halfway through round number 1. Leg kick by Rodriguez. Pseudo check by Emmett. Emmett steps inside. Lands 2 rights and a left. Emmett pacing around, both men in the center of the octagon. Rodriguez kick to the body, pseudo blocked by Emmett, who leaned into it. Emmett now steps in and throws 3 right hands, does not land either. Now the pressure intensifying. Rodriguez trying to turn up the heat. Lefts and rights, and missing an overhand right was Emmett after getting landed on by Rodriguez. Under 2 minutes, spinning head kick leads him to a right-left combination by Rodriguez. Missing the right hand was Emmett. Throwing that straight left, Rodriguez kick to the knee. Emmett walks into a few shots, and now it's a firefight again. Emmett trying to land something. Rodriguez moving away, throws an overhand right into a Muay Thai clinch. Rodriguez is down, lands the up kick. Emmett now inside control. Left hands by Josh Emmett. Emmett here with 1:22 left to go in the round, trying to take the victory. Rodriguez trying to latch the legs around the neck of Emmett. Emmett now has Rodriguez in the Luther Campbell, throwing right hands. Rodriguez in trouble, trying to roll out of it. Emmett controlling the pace of this fight with 1:05 left to go. Trying to close the show is Josh Emmett. Rodriguez trying to push out, but that left leg is being enwrapped. The right leg enraptured, climbs up. There's Rodriguez trying to pull the arm bar. Emmett now in a side control, isolating and hooking that left leg. Trying to climb up and get out is Rodriguez. 40 seconds left to go in round number 1. Vertical press now, rolls it up into a variation of a magistral. Emmett trying to make something happen here with an elbow and a forearm to the face of Rodriguez. 25 seconds left to go. In top position, standing on one leg, is Josh Emmett. Emmett with the left hand, trying to make him land. Shots from the bottom by Rodriguez. Right hammer fist landed by Emmett. 10 seconds left to go. Elbow, driving the point of the elbow, and the left hand. Emmett gets the push kick, driving through here, right hands, and that one will end round number 1. What a fucking fight. Rodriguez was controlling the pace of the round, and then as soon as everything got towards the floor, Josh Emmett completely turned the tide. I give it 10-9 Emmett. Rodriguez gave up the barn in the last minute or so of that round. Stanley Franklin, parlay schmarley, who needs it? Oh, and that was a kick right to the ribs. That knocked the air out of Josh Emmett and set up such a great right hand from Rodriguez. And there were just moments where Rodriguez knew that he was going to set something up. He might not have landed, but that wild right hand from Rodriguez from Emmett almost ended this fight. And there's so welt. There's a foot mark on the body of Josh Emmett, and we begin round number 2.
Be right back, Matt.
Go for it. Plus 105 for Emmett, minus 135 for Rodriguez. The live odds right now, according to DraftKings. Both men have not thrown a strike yet. It was 30 seconds gone by before the first strike was thrown in the first round. And we'll wait a little longer. Both men pace around the cage in a title fight. Slow and methodical is how we started round 1, and we go into a firefight, and Emmett gets the better of that exchange, landing a left and lands another right hand, and Rodriguez gets Emmett almost down. He pulls out of a single leg attempt by Emmett, and Rodriguez letting the leather fly. Kick to the body. Knee to the body, right hand by Rodriguez, throws some hammers. Overhand left, missed by Emmett. Kick to the body by Rodriguez. Emmett catches the leg. Emmett trying to go for the takedown. Rodriguez throwing elbows and throwing anything to get Emmett off of him as he's pressed up against the fence. Rodriguez's left thigh being held by Emmett. And now trying to go for that takedown. That left leg of Yair Rodriguez. Over 90 seconds gone by here in the first round. Rodriguez no longer on the fence. Needed a body and then a left hand by Yair Rodriguez. 3:16 what left to go in the second round. Second of 5 for the interim UFC Featherweight Championship. Left hand's missed, so does the right hand by Emmett. Emmett looking bad here. Overhand right missed by Emmett. Emmett looking to breathe. He's breathing heavy from the mouth. Eats a right hand, bounces off the fence. Left hand landed by Rodriguez. Rodriguez throws some insane strikes. 45 of 80 for Rodriguez. 20 of 51 for Emmett. 56% to 39% in terms of significant strikes landed. Trying to push away here. Head kick by Rodriguez doesn't catch fully. Right hand landed by Emmett. 2.5 minutes. Left-right combination missed by Emmett. Leg kick by Rodriguez. Rodriguez avoids 2 left hands from Emmett. 2:09 left to go in the round. 1:59 left to go. Head kick blocked by Emmett. Spinning back fist blocked by Emmett. Running knee, double knee. Yair gets taken down after a risky stair-climbing knee. And now he's on his back with 1:44 left to go. And Emmett in the Mormon position. It could be Episcopalian if his legs get up any higher. And we'll be at 91 seconds left to go. Minute 23 left to go in the round. On his back is Yair Rodriguez.
Oh.
Rodriguez on his back. Now looking into the Kama Sutra is Emmett as Rodriguez looks to climb up the body with a minute left to go. Try to pull a submission or get back to a standing base. He's got the left leg up, trying to lock it in, trying to lock in an arm bar. Is Yair Rodriguez throwing from the bottom, right hands, trying to lock in, and he's got a submission locked in. He's got the neck guillotine. He's got a squeeze, and Josh Emmett tops out. Yair Rodriguez gets the submission in round number 2, and the sign of respect and love from both fighters as Yair Rodriguez will move to 16-3 and get his first UFC championship. I did not see that being how this fight was going to end. I thought a submission, but in that scramble, in that falderall, being able to pull that submission and lock it in and just get the legs right around for the triangle choke. Easy, in and out. What a win for Yair Rodriguez. And a shout out to Trigger D as his parlay pays off.
Three straight finishes.
Yep.
Interesting.
I am not sure if we're going to see a finish in the 5th fight, but Josh Emmett,
no, I hope.
He was a warrior in that fight. Yeah. Volkanovski and Makashev, that's going to be a motherfucker of a fight. Let me know in the chat if you think that fight's going to go to a finish.
All right. How's the poll doing? I didn't look at it.
Yair won 78-22. That is not great for Emmett. Emmett had a good shot, He did have a shot. And we are about $300 away.
Straight cash, homie. Straight cash, homie.
From me doing a shoey. And Yair Rodriguez hugging a man in a cowboy hat. I do believe that's his father. He's got to have the belt put on him first. You know, be crowned champion and all. He is outside the octagon. And his mom's going to join him in there. His family's going to end in there.
You want to do one more poll for the main event?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, of course we're going to do a poll. Who's going to win, Islam, or is it going to be Volkanovski? Trigger D picking Volk by KO. Hungover Moth think it'll be submission in the 2nd or 3rd round. Trigger D saying it wasn't the choke, it was the tapatito on his trunks. Damn, bro. That's mean. But we'll have that final poll coming up. Josh Emmett, understandably disappointed, but one hell of a win. And Dana White not at his own pay-per-view. Instead, I do believe he's at the big game at the end of the season. So, I think it's Sean Shelby who's going to crown the new champion. And a Volkanovski-Yair Rodriguez fight sounds fun. That sounds fun as fuck. I would love to watch that. I would also like to see Josh Emmett versus Alexander Volkanovski as well. Young Ed, Islam Makhachev, sub round 1. Stephen Kelleher, Islam by some sort of squeeze. And at this time, Matt, I'm going to step away for about 65 seconds. You entertain the kids.
Right.
I'll be back.
Oh, I'll do my best.
Oh, you'll be fine. They like you.
Do they? I try. I just try to help. I try to make sure the ship doesn't sink. That's my only job. All right. Pardon me for being ignorant, but you guys in the chat, can you help me out here? What? Why is there an interim title? Who's out? Is there someone injured that I forgot about? All right, that pulls up. Dark side, we're not talking about that here.
Back. What I miss?
Welcome back. Welcome back. Not much. I was asking the chat and I didn't get an answer. I don't know if why is there an interim title for this one?
Well, because Volkanovski is fighting for the title. Volkanovski's the featherweight champion. He's fighting for the lightweight championship. So instead of having a logjam, yeah,
I get you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the confusion came in, I think, right?
Yeah.
Because they're both involved. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm dumb.
Taking a look here at the chat. Emmett's only weaknesses are UV rays and spicy food, according to Trigger D. Khabib, I'm gonna smash your boy, said Alexander the Great, according to Trigger D. Full body constriction must be avoided by Volk, according to Toker88. But been an interesting night at the fights. We have one more fight left to go. They are dragging this post-fight interview a little too long, but Yair Rodriguez, much deserved, gets his first UFC championship. Now it'll be interesting. Oh, Yair and Holloway. Ooh, if Max is next, if Volk wins and Max is the next in line because he's ranked number 1 now, behind both the champions. That could be a fun fight. But Yair versus Volk also would be fucking banana pants.
So Volkanovski can be a double champion after tonight.
Yes, he will. If he wins tonight, he will be a double champion.
Okay, all right. And then at some point he's going to have to go fight this guy that just won to.
Yes, fight Yair.
I am now up to speed. I now feel educated. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, the chat coming through. Didn't Mac beat Yair? I'm not sure. I don't remember. I don't think so. But we can look that up. But Yair holding the photo, taking the post-fight photo with his family and his team. Oh, Max, I think he did. I think you're right. Look at my notes here. He did. He lost to Max by unanimous decision. So it could get very interesting. But now, after that, they might bounce it around. We may see something different here. But Islam Makhachev, 5th most submissions in division history, lightweight division history with 5. His first defense going up against Alexander Volkanovski, the number 1 ranked fighter in the world. 4th highest significant strikes per minute in UFC featherweight history, 6.97 significant strikes per minute. That's a lot, buddy. That's a lot of fucking strikes. It's an uncomfortable amount of strikes. And just to give you a little bit of background here, Volkanovski has won his last 22 fights. The most recent being the win over Max Holloway in July of last year. He defeated Holloway 3 times, including their first fight, which Holloway lost the title to Volkanovski for. He's also defeated Brian Ortega and the Korean Zombie. His last loss, Matt, was in May of 2013. So it has been nearly a decade.
10 years.
nearly an exact decade since he last lost a fight.
9 years and 10 months, 10 and a half months. Jeez.
That's it. He's in his fights in the fifth. His win-loss streak's in the 5th grade at this point. And taking a look here, Max received the chin music of all time. He's done. Yeah, I know, but it's still interesting to see what would happen.
Yeah, he got
Tiffany,
dropped
there's no real story. I just don't really want to talk about it. I just don't really want to talk about it, and it's better that I don't talk about it. There's no heat there. It's just I don't want to talk about it.
It's I have thoughts too, but I know you don't. Yeah. I know.
Better just left unsaid. You're fine. Don't over apologize.
No, I'm apologizing to Tiffany, who kind of wants us to talk about it, but I think
subscribe to the Patreon. Subscribe to the Patreon, because I write my thoughts about Dana. I write my thoughts about Dana in my new Patreon post, which you can get for just $5 a month.
Straight cash, homie. Straight cash.
Patreon.com/Dan A. White. That's Patreon.com/Dan A. White. It pays me, Brendan, everybody. So if you want to donate to the cause, the new preview was a case for less pay-per-views because of the lack of promotion for this one. Deontay Wilder against Francis Ngannou. Now, I could say I don't want that fight, but I would be a fucking liar. A scurrilous fucking liar. But I'm a fan. Deontay Wilder's my favorite boxer. And Francis Ngannou is just so fun to watch that as a fan, I want to see that fight, but I also don't want to see that because because I like both fighters and I don't want to see either of them take that loss or endure the violence from either of those men. Like that's the motherfucker of it all. It's like when you have fighters who you like facing off.
Did that happen? I'm sorry. I mean, did he retire? Or he quit after last time we talked, right? Last time we were on the air. Was it after?
Well, Francis Ngannou got his outright release. Yeah, well, he got his outright released.
Right.
Yeah, no, but he might be fighting in boxing next. Yeah, he didn't quit.
Yeah, yes. I just couldn't remember if it was we already talked about it or it happened after we were last on the air.
Yeah, like I think Deontay Wilder could, if it's under boxing rules, I think Wilder would get the win. I can see Ngannou having Tyson Fury-esque power, but that skill set is entirely different.
Fight was Tyson Fury. Does it change now? He's not going to be Tyson Fury?
Young Ed, I'm not picking both fighters. I just don't know which one I would pick because I like both guys. If it was a straight-up boxing match, Wilder wins. But I don't like counting out Francis Ngannou's power, and also as someone who's a fan of both fighters, it's hard for me to discern one way or another because your brain is pulling you one way and your emotions are pulling you in another way. So I'd rather be upfront and say it'd be a hard fight for me to pick. I could pick a winner. Like I think Alexander Volkanovski is going to win the main event.
The company that should be jumping in trying to get these mixed fights is bare knuckle fighting.
Yeah,
they're the ones that should be because you would.
But the problem with bare knuckle fighting is the regulation problem.
But
it's not regulated everywhere. The biggest fight in bare knuckle history was between Paulie Malignaggi and one of Conor McGregor's buddies, who's now no longer one of his buddies, and sued him in court over a bunch of bullshit. It was just the whole it was messy. It was like another thing that we saw that we can't talk about in the wrestling world.
Right, I got it. But the format of it, the rules of it, has a benefit to a boxer and a UFC fighter. To a degree. I mean, it helps both. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's the greatest idea or it should have happened, but if you want someone that should go after these kind of crossover fights, that would be a company that could.
Also, with the power that Wilder throws, he'd break his hand. Bare knuckle. Like, with the power he has in his punches.
Bare knuckle fight? Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, he'd break his fucking
hand.
A lot
of those boxers would.
Young Ed says you can't pick black or red licorice. I wouldn't want either. Fuck licorice. Licorice is disgusting. People who eat Twizzlers bother me greatly. I get it, but no. And also, Matt, it's 12:03 Eastern Standard Time, and we are in our main event.
Okay, good.
Australia. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, to being in bed by 2 a.m. Let's go. There we go. Me running my own soundboard.
It's 1 p.m. in Perth right now. 1
Friggy,
p.m.
what
on
happened
Sunday afternoon.
What happened to Paulie in that fight? He seemed like a guy who was in his late 30s, early 40s, who hadn't fought in a while, and he just held the entire time. Like, it wasn't the pissed off fucking I'm gonna kill you fight that we all, that we were sold or they were selling. It was actually at the press conference at a Dave & Buster's in Midtown Manhattan. That's where the press conference took place for this fight. And yeah, it was at the Dave & Buster's in Midtown. And I almost got spat on by Paulie Malignaggi. I had to avoid being imperiled in a brawl. Because we were live streaming the fucking press conference and I was trying to get video.
You guys get some of the nuttiest stuff in New York, I swear.
Buddy.
All the bizarre stuff happens.
Well, because it's all where everything happens. Where the fun shit happens, where the crazy shit happens.
Oh.
Like I was on...
You know who I talk to, and I get it every day. Well,
yeah, because that person doesn't lead a normal life. He doesn't. He leads the life, and I'm the same too. Like, I live the life of a cartoon character. I do not live a normal person life. And Stanley Franklin, Mike Perry over MVP. Ugh. They paid Paulie with arcade tokens, and I know people who worked at that Dave & Buster's. They robbed that place so fucking much in the late 2000s when it opened. I knew a whole bunch of dudes who I grew up with worked over there. And I feel like the statute of limitations, and I'm not going to use names, but like they would just end up with random shit from there because it's a Dave & Buster's in Midtown Manhattan, so security is kind of implied more than enforced. But whatever. Thank you to everybody who's been watching so far tonight. Stephen Kelleher, you don't throw full force and bare knuckle. I know that. I think we all know that. But to be completely honest, if you're so conditioned to throw boxing punches, if you're so conditioned to... and also, Wilder's power is pure power, is that to where he might not do it consciously.
Would break before his hand would break. If he hit someone...
I don't know about that.
Well, it depends on who he's throwing against.
It could be 6 of one, half dozen of the other. And Volkanovski inside the octagon. And there are a lot of good fights coming up, Stephen. Like you're saying it there. If Aljamain moves up, you've got Sean O'Malley, you got Chito Vera, you got Corey Sandhagen, Jan. There's a lot of good fights coming up. And there's a lot of good fights on the... If you're a fan of MMA, the cards this year, the pay-per-view cards are going to be fun. But if you're
next
casual,
two are going to be good.
Yeah, the next two are going to be kick-ass.
And next two are casual.
Yeah. What is 285? Because I don't think it's 285.
285 is the McGregor one, right?
No, it's not. No, that's I'm sorry. 286. 285 is the next one. 286 is Leon Edwards and Usman in London, which is going to be fun as fuck. And you got Gaethje versus Fiziev, Joanne Calderwood going up against Lana Carolina. Like the card is top heavy, but Gaethje in the co-main helps it out.
Does that mean I have to clear my Saturday afternoon that day?
I believe so.
Okay, you're gonna have to help me with this.
I gotcha. And after that is Adesanya versus Pereira too. And that's got Gilbert Burns versus Masvidal, and that's in Miami. Oh, that one's going to be nuts.
That's going to be a burner.
Yeah. And UFC 288 will take place on May 6th. So we've got a lot of MMA coming up. Toker88 says, let's go Volkswagen Farfig Nugan. Fair enough. Sugar Sean O'Malley overrated, according to Young Ed. I would say that he's properly rated, maybe a little overrated, but that's the problem with a lot of these young fighters, man. They make this first impression, and then that wave of popularity comes, and then they feel like they have to sustain the gimmick. I think that's what happened with Cody fucking, what's his nuts?
Garbrandt? Is that who you're talking
No. The Make America Great Again guy.
about?
Colby
No, I
Covington.
can't remember.
Colby Covington.
I couldn't remember his name.
He worked himself into a shoot, and we have not heard from him in a long time. Well, half of that has to do with Masvidal. Masvidal has a fight, and fucking Covington doesn't, but Covington got run up and done up by Masvidal in Miami. Hey. Trigger D predicting that Henry Cejudo is going to come get the 145 belt. I would be fucking all for it. Makashev has made his way into the octagon. That's right. He, she's, and theys. It's time for the main event here. UFC 284. And it will be a battle between the top 2 pound-for-pound fighters in the world. And that's the great thing about MMA, is where you can have that weight disparity not really be a disparity and make these fights. It also has a lot to do with the consolidation of talent in mixed martial arts. Trigger D, ref says protect yourself at all times. Garbrandt says, no, I don't think I will. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do that. Volkanovski high-stepping and kind of doing the Shawn Michaels cha-cha-cha thing. Well, let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Makashev, 31, Volkanovski, 34. Volkanovski at 154.5 pounds he was weighed in officially. Makashev, a champion weight, 155. Huge height difference, 5'10 to 5'6. Volkanovski, 4 inches shorter, but has the 1.5-inch reach advantage over the Dagestani. Makashev, the minus 380 favorite. The underdog at plus 310 is Volkanovski, which is a rare situation for Volkanovski, but I think a well-warranted underdog, especially when he's the one moving up in weight, and he's going up against Makashev, who's a murder man. But let us know your predictions in the chat. Mark Goddard, the official in this fight. I don't think I've seen Herb Dean all night. We saw Goddard. We saw a few other people.
That's interesting. Maybe he's.
There's a lot of people who don't like Herb Dean anymore, and also there's other cards and things like that.
Well, it's in Australia. Maybe he just didn't want to go, or couldn't go, or any of those options.
Litany of things. Trigger D pointing out he's the second biggest underdog on the card. That is. For a guy who won his last, what was it? Hold on. His last fucking 21 fights? Yeah. He's tied for the longest active winning streak in featherweight division history with 10. He's won his last 22 fights, and he's the plus 310 underdog. And the fancy lighting, the light ups on the outside of the octagon that you could have spent on your fighters, because who the fuck cares about the outside of the octagon? I honestly don't get it. Like, the LEDs outside a WWE ring makes sense, because it's... Who's seeing that? Who's seeing any of that except maybe the first 3 rows of the audience?
Oh, around the... talking about around the outside?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like, I would love to hear from...
Drone cam. That's not for the crowd. That's for us.
Yeah, I know that's not for the crowd, but even for us, like, if you show it in a panning shot, maybe 3 or 4 times, and if you're selling ad space on it, there's there's cameramen standing on it, there's fucking coaches. It's such a weird goddamn thing. And Trigger D saying, kick him in the nuts, inshallah.
I mean,
are we rooting for a dick kick in this fight?
Oh, God. Wow. We haven't had one. See, that's what I miss
Buddy,
about.
It is tied.
That's for Stephanie.
Yeah.
It is. He makes sure we talk about those.
The poll is 50-50.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, Makashev 50, Volkanovski 50. Even fights.
Oh my God. All right.
And Islam Makhachev being introduced. Trigger, you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Yeah, well, hopefully no one pulls an Eddie Guerrero here. Hopefully we have a quick and fun fight. It is 12:13 in the Eastern Standard Time Zone, and we are getting ready to be with the shits. Makashev, Volkanovski.
I'm trying to get close to my prediction.
What is your prediction?
I just said 12:30 it was going to start.
Ah, good job.
No.
And here we go, round number 1 for the UFC Lightweight Championship. Volkanovski looking to join the Champ Club. Makashev looking to prove dominance here. Plus 295 right now in live odds for Volkanovski. Minus 390 for Makashev. Volkanovski trying to circle around here. Create some opportunity, create some distance. Or try to find a way inside and get at Makashev. Does not want to get taken down by the Dagestani. Despite Volkanovski being a BJJ black belt, you do not want to wrestle a Dagestani in the UFC. It usually does not end well for you. My prediction was Volkanovski. I think Volkanovski might get the win tonight, but I know I'm probably going to end up being wrong. Inside, 2 strikes by Volkanovski. Missed with the upstairs left hand. 2 rights to the body and then 1 to the head by Volkanovski. Over a minute gone by, minute 10 gone by in round number 1 of 5. Only had 1 fight on the main card go the distance, and that was a majority draw.
It was an opening bout.
Yeah, Jimmy Crute and Alonzo Menifield started off our main card. Changing up a stance.
Maybe we'll get an open and closer banger like a good wrestling show.
Fair enough. That first fight was a banger. Makashev missing with the left hand. Same thing with Volkanovski in the right. Steps in with the left hand as Volkanovski does not land. Left-right combination gets Makashev on his back foot, but he'll reset. 3:13 left to go in the round. Volkanovski pacing. Following Makashev around the octagon. Steps inside. Makashev will press away. Missing with the right hand was Volkanovski. Trying to create some opportunities here. In the hometown boy now being hunted by Makashev. 2:40 left to go in round number 1. Both fighters seemingly coming out aggressive. Kick to the thigh by Volkanovski. Leading with the left hand is the Australian. Kick to the leg by Makashev. Push kick by Makashev. Volkanovski takes a knee after getting hit with a combination by Makashev. And Makashev trying to get him back down now. Looking to go for the takedown. Switches around, almost Luther Campbell position. Makashev trying to grapevine the left leg of Volkanovski. Volkanovski now pressing, being pressed up against the fence by Makashev. Makashev trying to get him into the Luther Campbell. Reverse waist lock now applied by Makashev. 95 seconds left to go in round number 1. Makashev caught Volkanovski by surprise, rocked him back, almost sent him to the ground. Volkanovski was able to maintain, but that's when Makashev struck. And there's a takedown, but rolling out of it is Volkanovski trying to get back to a vertical base. Makashev now holding on, trying to put on the vice grips, maintaining that reverse waist lock. Grapevining the leg of Volkanovski. Makashev trying to maintain control here. Minute 6 left to go in the round. Pressed up against the fence is Makashev, backpacking Volkanovski. Nothing doing here. Makashev still trying to squeeze Volkanovski, trying to get that that left arm underneath the chin of Volkanovski. 41 seconds left to go in round number 1. Now it looks like Volkanovski is almost getting put in a sleeper hold, trying to avoid watching that arm, that forearm slip underneath the chin. Leading with the right arm now is Makashev. Makashev with 23 seconds left to go. Turn the round around here and can walk out with a 10-9 round as Makashev continues to squeeze and just try to draw the arms down to the neck. And with 5 seconds left to go, Volkanovski will land some shots as we will go to round number 2 here in Perth. Things started out well for Volkanovski, but the deeper that round went, Makashev got a couple of solid strikes in and set up for the takedown and then controlled the last 90 seconds of round 1. Taking a look at the chat. And literally some of the toughest men on earth, according to Trigger D. Stephen Kelleher trying to hit him with a shot to the knee. Try to KO him with a shot to the knee. Trigger D says he's using the Volca dope. That's a good one. That's a good one. And a shout out to people that are just joining us. I'm Matt Ryan, MG Geeks, my producer. Usually Brendan Sokler's to my left, but he is dealing with a cat emergency. His cat, Nandor, just underwent surgery. And if you want to support Nandor, we are dropping it in the chat. If you want to support him. And also Stephanie Sotili on a much-deserved vacation from me and my nonsense. And we were going with round number 2. You shut up. You shut your pretty little mouth.
I'm kidding.
I know. Both right. The odds have changed. Minus 500 for Makashev, plus 370 for Volkanovski. So Makashev being well-liked by gamblers now after kind of taking the last 90 seconds of round 1. Volkanovski continuing to step in, trying to regain the traction he had in the first round. Early in the first round, pardon me. Looks like there's some swelling on the back of Volkanovski's neck, probably from the pressure of being held by Makashev. That's just bad tanning. Either way. No one able to really land a strike here. 4:09 left to go in round 1. Round 2, kick to the body landed by Makashev. Combination of strikes missed by Volkanovski. Combinations downstairs into upstairs by Volkanovski, landing the downstairs shots. Volkanovski gets Makashev down! Makashev back to a standing base, gets the leg takedown, scramble! Makashev in control after being shot down with a punch by Volkanovski. Shout out to Joe Blair. 3:36 left to go in the round. Makashev.
That link is in the chat now, guys.
Thank you so much. The Luther Campbell trying to take that leg again, slipping out of it. Trying to pop some space here. Makashev trying to get the takedown. 3:16, what left to go in round number 2. Trying to slip out that leg, and Makashev gets the takedown, but Volkanovski turns it around and gets the arm and tried to go for a single knee. Does not land. Makashev eating some shots there. A couple of knees to the body by the defending champion. Transitions out of it. Volkanovski pressing Makashev up against the fence. 2:41 left to go in the round. Left hand landed by Volkanovski. Throwing a couple of solid left hands. Pressing Makashev up against the fence. Knee to the body by Makashev. Dragged him back to the center of the octagon and knee blocked by Volkanovski. Under 2.5 minutes now in the round. Pacing around the outer rim of the octagon is Volkanovski trying to step back into the center, but Makashev holding the court down. Leading with his left is Volkanovski, the right hand being led by Makashev. Both men back into the center of the octagon. Volkanovski eats a right hand after coming in. Tried to land a couple of strikes and a low kick. Does not land them. And with 1:49 left to go, both men in the center of the octagon going downstairs, then upstairs. Makashev trying to play keep away here. 97 seconds left to go in the round. And then Volkanovski gets caught with a left hand. Makashev steps inside, but Volkanovski will peel away knee. Left and rights. Volkanovski getting lit up here by Islam. Right hand by Makashev. 1:20 left to go in round number 2. Volkanovski trying to throw everything he can. Eats a right hand, then a left hand by Islam Makhachev. Uppercut and then a overhand left. Both left-hand punches not landing by Makashev. 1:04 left to go in the round. Right hand. Trigger D, one toke over the line, sweet Jesus. Under a minute left to go now. Volkanovski just trying to gain some semblance of control here. After Makashev has had him on the ropes, metaphorically, at several points of the second round. Knee to the body. Makashev runs in Muay Thai clinch, changing the polarity, but the clutch is still in the clutches of Makashev. 30 seconds left to go. Makashev drives the knee into the point of the body, tried to drive it into the pec muscles of Alexander Volkanovski. 20 seconds now left to go in the round. Landing left hands was Volkanovski, but still in that clinch with Makashev pressed up against the fence. Trying to maybe go for a takedown, Volkanovski is, but strikes still coming in from the defending lightweight champion. Left hand thrown by Volkanovski. Volkanovski now has a clinch of his own, and that will be the end of round number 2. Another round where I think Islam Makhachev had the advantage and controlled the pace throughout the majority of it. So for me right now, it is 2 rounds to none, Islam Makhachev. And guys, it is an interesting fight here as we get deeper and deeper. Right now, Volkanovski has to either finish this fight or sweep the next 3 rounds. It is a tough road to hoe here against Makhachev. The height advantage is coming into play.
He's way behind, isn't he?
I'd say it's 10-9, 10-9. I wouldn't say it's a 10-8 round by any means. But just the way this goes, if he doesn't win this round, he's got to finish it in round 4 or 5.
He's going to have to.
Yeah. And that left hand from Makhachev just caught Volkanovski right on the button. And how he was able to stay up after that was a real interesting one. Just caught him on the fly. Braden Thacker said is right. It probably is 1-1 because they are in Australia. So we got to take that into effect. Home cooking could be at play here. 5 seconds gone by. Both men in the center of the octagon. Plus 235, minus 300. So the odds have shifted towards Volkanovski in round 2 to round 3. A real interesting change in the line there. I'm wondering what people saw. Head kick blocked by Volkanovski. On that left hand is the current featherweight champion, the challenger here tonight. 4:20 left to go into 3rd round. Leading with the left hand is Volkanovski. Steps in and then feigns back. Makashev continuing to add pressure, leading with that right hand. Bouncing around, looking to create some sort of space. I just mentioned them. I don't know. Did they move again? Right hand and into a quick grapple. Tried to go for a clinch there. Makashev did not grab it. He's not for long. 3:41 left to go in the round. Left hands by Volkanovski. Lands a right hand. Eats a left hand from Makashev. Kick to the thigh. Right hand to the ribs. And then a straight left landed by Volkanovski. Makashev continuing to pressure, though. Continuing to try to cloud Makashev. Makashev has landed 28 shots to the head. Volkanovski 27 to the body. 27 to the head by Volkanovski. 22 to the body by Makashev. 6 to the body by Volkanovski. at the 3-minute mark here in round number 3. Tried to step into it. We're near the halfway point of this fight. Makashev stepping away from a left hand from Volkanovski. Volkanovski gets into the pit, gets a knee to a body for his trouble. In a single tie clinch now. Volkanovski gets driven into the fence. Now Makashev trying to pull for the submission. Almost wrapped up a guillotine. Did Volkanovski. Now Makashev grabbing the legs of Alexander Volkanovski. 2:26 left to go in the round. Minus 150 for the over and a half, 2.5 rounds. The under is plus 115. And it seems like we hit the over. That was the odds before the fight. So if you bet on the under, you are having a bad time tonight. Volkanovski now has Makashev pressed up against the cage. 2 minutes and then change, under 2 minutes now, pardon me, left to go in the round. Volkanovski's teeing off with left hands, pressed up against the fence. Makashev trying to get out of there. Left-right combination by Volkanovski, and Makashev will get out of dodge. Minute 44 left to go in the round. Pacing around are both fighters. 97 seconds left to go in the round.
Very strategic fight, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's back and forth here. Both of them are trying to maximize their opportunities at what they're good at. I think Volkanovski's kind of caught on to what Makashev's game plan is here. I can see him winning this round if he can maintain the pressure for the last 90 seconds. He eats a left hand, and Volkanovski says, "Bring it on, motherfucker." And nothing really, no added gas to the fire there, but Volkanovski might have gotten a wake-up call in the form of that left hand from Makashev. Body kick by Makashev does not land. 1 minute remains in the third round. Putting the pressure on here is Volkanovski. Volkanovski missing with 2 left hands. Makashev missing with a right. Volkanovski tapping away with the left hand. In terms of significant strikes, it was 9-8 Makashev, then 19-11 Makashev, and now it's 11-10 Volkanovski here in the third round. Makashev is second down. Volkanovski trying to pull for the guillotine. Makashev finds a way out, but Volkanovski getting a takedown, or could be considered a knockdown, and Volkanovski smells blood. He presses Makashev up against the fence. Takedown attempt not completed. Both men back up to a vertical base, and we're firefighting with 13 seconds left to go in the round. They'll peel away, but Volkanovski may try to get a parting shot here. And we will go to the fourth round. That one, the best round, I think, so far for Volkanovski. It could be 2-1 right now, with Volkanovski down, but really turning the tide of the fight in this third round. And just like that, you can see the difference in the corners. Makashev looking a little winded, looking a little tired, getting coached. Both fighters a little, little poised. That kick to the body by Makashev was devastating, right to the rib cage. And that inside knee kick to Islam kind of threw him off his base. Tried to block the elbow from Makashev in that round, was not able to. Raiden Thacker has it 2-1 Volkanovski. You can give that first round to Volkanovski. That second round was clearly Makashev's. You can have it 2-1 either way. And it will be the start of the fourth round. They're presented by Manscaped. We're not. We got to get some ball trimming sponsors, Matt. You got to add that to the list of things we got to do.
I'll put that on the list. We'll talk to our guy.
Volkanovski plus 225, Makashev minus 285. So that line continues to move around a little bit. The live odds from DraftKings. 20 seconds gone by. Tapping with the left hand is Volkanovski. Shout out to Gaxter29 watching in Canada. That means I believe a certain Miss Sotiley is watching left hand landed by Makashev with the uppercut of the fat baby asleep on the other side of the metaphorical glass. Glad you all are joining us. Makashev leading with the right hand. 4:08 left to go in the fourth round. Leg kick missed by Volkanovski. Trying to stomp is Volkanovski, trying to stomp on the feet of Makashev. And yeah, we got a needle of balls. But they'll keep fighting because Makashev doesn't care. Makashev's balls are dead. And Volkanovski said, you can hit me in the balls. It's fine. Steph is always watching. Yeah, it's a frightening but true thing. Couple of shots by Volkanovski, 341 now. It's 45 to 36 Makashev in terms of significant strikes, but Volkanovski trying to make up for that. Trigger D said if Volk wins, he'll do a shoey of proper 12. You're a wild boy. Volkanovski gets taken down again by Makashev. Makashev holding on to the legs. Yelling at his corner. Trying to slip out of it and get back up. Try to avoid the submission attempt. Volkanovski's back is taken by Makashev. Makashev trying to go for the RNC, trying to lock in the choke here with 3:03 left to go in the fourth round. Makashev is 4 for 7 on takedowns tonight, 57% landed. Padding on the chest, 2:45 left to go. Both men in what can be considered a spoon position. Volkanovski's back is taken by Makashev. Makashev breathing heavy. Volkanovski landing some left hands. Trying to weigh the risk and reward here of punching him in the face, but not getting choked out. 2:19 left to go. Volkanovski trying to avoid the takedown, talking a little bit of shit to Makashev in this situation. Punches to the head by Volkanovski to Makashev, pardon me. Trying to maintain some composure here is the featherweight champion of the world as he tries to become a double champion. And now the hand, the wrist, trying to dig into the eyes or the chin of Volkanovski. Minute 45 left to go in our penultimate round. The referee checking in and almost pulling in another submission attempt was Makashev, but he can't get that arm underneath the jaw. And trying to pop out of it is Alexander Volkanovski. Under 90 seconds left to go in the round. Volkanovski always talking. He is talking up a storm in that scenario. He's still being held on tightly by Makashev. Be adorable if it weren't so violent. 4 minutes and 5 seconds of ground control time in this fight for Makashev, but Makashev continuing to get punched in the fucking face by Alexander Volkanovski. But trying to break the leg lock, the complete figure four around the waist, backpacking himself, and Volkanovski bleeding from the middle of in between his eyebrows, right in the middle of his head. Right around here, with 38 seconds left to go in this round, Volkanovski more than likely is losing this round and will need to get a stoppage in round 5 to walk out with a double championship. And he is just punching the shit out of Makashev, by the way. He is landing some strong shots, and Makashev finally landing a few of his own. But Makashev getting lit up here despite controlling on the ground. And Volkanovski screaming, yelling, I think he yelled, "Fuck you." Makashev talking shit, I believe, inside the scruff of Volkanovski's neck. Both of these guys are beating the piss out of each other on the ground. And this crowd is fucking eating it up. And Israel Adesanya hyped up for Volkanovski. That's the thing is like, how do you score that? Sure, Makashev had control of the ground. But if Volkanovski can land all those shots and land so consistently, like where did the significant strikes go in that round?
And look cocky doing it. That was the best part of it. He's like, I'm just going to lay here like you're a goddamn comfort lounge chair. And
maybe trying to gas him. Like, I don't know. I guess leaning into it. Stephen Kelleher.
Straight cash, homie. Straight cash, homie. Straight cash, homie.
Donating $5 to the cause. We're $295 away from me doing a shoey.
I'm just
This
glad
will
we're
carry
getting
over
a
to the
fight.
next show.
We're getting
Getting a good fight.
getting something worth our time. Yeah.
The judges get that Aussie cooking ready, according to Trigger D. And it's time for the final 5 minutes of this fight. We've had 4 motherfuckers of a round. Let's see what we can get out of this. And hashtag cash for groin shots. And it's the final round time. Both men will dap each other up and now try to kill one another. Respect. It's a wonderful thing. Minus 355 for Makashev, plus 275 for Volkanovski. So the bettors are starting to love Makashev again. And a shout out to our chat. You guys are the reason why we still do this, literally. If it weren't for you guys as viewers, I would have quit at the start of the year. Left hand from Makashev, landing a devastating left hand. Raiden Thacker saying this round will determine the winner. I have to agree. I don't have it as 2-2, but I could see it being 2-2. And coming out of this, Volkanovski putting the pressure down. Lefts and rights from Makashev. To the jaw of Volkanovski, leading with the left hand as Volkanovski switches up his stance, throws a right, and lands and avoids a left from Makashev. Pacing around. Head kick attempt by Volkanovski, not landed. A knee and 2 knees from Makashev. He eats 4 punches from Volkanovski. It is back and forth here. 3.5 minutes left to go in the round. Kick to the body. Circling around is Volkanovski. Keeping in stride. Makashev takes him down after an attempt from Volkanovski. Volkanovski spins out of it, and now he's on his knees, and both men back up to a vertical base, but Makashev will push Volkanovski back to the fence. 3:09 left to go in the 5th and final round. Volkanovski peels away from Makashev. Both of them will walk back towards the center of the octagon. Pacing around, leading with the left hand is Volkanovski. Minus 355, plus 275 with the live odds right now. Leading now with the right hand is Makashev. Volkanovski leading with the left, switches a stance. And a single leg takedown by Makashev. But now he is in a waistlock applied by Volkanovski. He's got him from asshole to midsection. Now Volkanovski trying to push off Makashev. Lands a right hand. Left hand. Just throwing left hand right at the head of Makashev. Back to a standing base, and Volkanovski takes Makashev down, who holds on to the leg of Volkanovski. Volkanovski peeled out for a second and now finds a way back up to a vertical base, as does Makashev. Final 2 minutes of this fight, and the pressure coming from Volkanovski. Volkanovski steps inside, and he's trying to get a takedown on Makashev. He presses Makashev up against the fence. Throws a knee, does Makashev, eating the left hand, missing the right. Makashev almost getting taken down there by Volkanovski. Volkanovski will pressure Makashev with 98 seconds left to go before we go to the scorecards. Knee to the inside of the thigh, knee to the back of the thigh, and Makashev trying to get the takedown. Volkanovski finds a way to spin out of it. Was unsure who set that takedown up, who was the one trying to land that takedown and pushing away. Pacing around here. Right hand, Makashev gets caught! Makashev got caught by Volkanovski! Minute 3 left, and now Volkanovski trying to posture up. He is in top position. Makashev eating right hands to the fucking rib cage, and then a hammer fist to the head. Volkanovski might try to get this round. Trying to posture up here is Alexander Volkanovski. 45 seconds left to go. On his back is Makashev, trying to hold on to his lightweight title for as long as possible. Can he hold on to this scorecards, or can Volkanovski walk it off in front of his fellow Australians? 33 seconds left to go in the fight. Trying to posture up is Volkanovski. Trying to hold on is Makashev. 25 seconds left to go in this fight. Makashev has a mouse underneath his right eye. 19 seconds left to go. Volkanovski breaks away from Makashev for a brief fleeting moment. Hammer fists from Volkanovski, trying to tee off with 8 seconds left to go, trying to walk off the fight. 5 seconds left to go. Volkanovski throwing hammers, and he will go to the scorecards in Perth. Whoo! That was a fucking fight, my lord. Cheers, everybody. Adesanya dapping up people in the crowd. Fellow fighters. A guy who looks like Pat McAfee. Thacker calling it a 10-8 round.
Really good.
Landing shots with impunity was Volkanovski in the last few moments of that. I don't know how to score this one. I can see Volkanovski winning. I could see Makashev. I could see the judges giving it to Volkanovski.
I also could see it. I know they would. I doubt they would do it, but I could see a draw.
Buddy, it's Australia.
I doubt they would do it.
You doubt that the commission of his native country would give him a close win and try not to avoid a riot?
Fair.
Also, hungover moth, damn, I've never been so excited for a fight I can't see. Well, thank you, buddy. That's very nice of you. Either way, if Volkanovski wins this, run this the fuck back. Like, that's what you got to do. Signs of respect as both sides dapping up each other's coaches. I don't know, man. I know
Wow.
Tucker88 said it might have won it for Volkanovski there. 50-42 Volky, according to Trigger D, who is speaking for his wallet. Stanley Franklin, it's not Brazil, Matt. I know it's not Brazil, but let's not act like this wouldn't be a thing that happens. Let's take a look at the scorecards.
So good.
The judges score this fight 48-47, 49-46, and for the winner by unanimous decision, Islam Makhachev will remain UFC Lightweight champion. Alexander Volkanovski losing a tight decision.
Wow.
I get it. I get why Makhachev won. I'd run this back, but I think Volkanovski has more than enough to handle at 145. That the move to 155 may not be the move now, but goddamn, what a fight. What a fight. And Makashev's a problem. He's moved into the longest active win streak, 12 fights. He supplanted Volkanovski, who is ended his 10-fight winning streak, even though that will still count for the featherweight division.
Right.
Makashev beat the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world, and Volkanovski trying to tell the crowd to shut the fuck up, let the man speak.
What is it about these two weight classes? Well, I'll let you.
Well, they're just a 10-pound difference, and there's such a
no,
fertile...
but I'm saying there always seem to be the
that's where the
pound guys
that's where the
come out of it, right?
Because that's where the deepest divisions have been the last few years.
Fair.
Second
it started with Conor McGregor and.
Yeah.
Always
it started even before Conor McGregor. Like the 145 and 155 pound divisions have been kind of a cornerstone. Like those lower weight class divisions really emerged in the late 2000s, early 2010s with the rise of WEC, the merger into the UFC. There were so many great talents at those weight classes that it was bound to happen. And you infuse the Dagestanis in there, who are pretty much within that weight range. Good night, Stephen Kelleher. And it's just a lot. It's a lot. 145. I don't know. We saw a banger of a 145 fight tonight. There's options at 145, but I think that's where we'll leave things here tonight. Islam Makhachev getting the win. The next time we'll be with you, John Jones will be fighting for a fucking World Heavyweight Championship. And we've got 2 pay-per-views in March. We'll be with you March 4th and March 18th, and we'll be glad you are joining us. And we want you to
Straight cash, homie.
go to the Patreon, patreon.com/Danny White. That's patreon.com/Danny White. Get tickets at CatalystWrestling.com for the return of Catalyst Wrestling to the Bell House on March 5th. And also be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for everything Matt Menz you can watch. MG Geek produce Andrew Zarian and Rich every single week right here on this channel. But for MG Geek, for all of the Fat Baby, and for all of us here at Matt Men, I'm Matt Ryan saying so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye, and we will say so long